Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of course,
China.
my name is Fernando, and this is
Z.
and today we have a very, very interesting guest. So, Ziv, why don't you tell us something about him?
John Graham Harper. He's in China for almost 20 years. As a fitness enthusiast, he went on to do a lot of entrepreneurship in the fitness industry, as well as a white collar fight night. And today he's stuck in China. Hey, John, thanks for being here.
How's it going?
At your office, in your ring.
In my boxing ring, yes,
Yes.
at my office.
We understand that was one of your dreams to have a show in the middle of the ring.
Yes, I couldn't. I mean, I must say, first and foremost, you guys' setup is incredible. We're looking at I lost count how many cameras and lights. This is a really professional setup, and to top it all off, we are in the middle of the boxing ring.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool, I have to say.
But
Yeah.
we're not going to box.
This is the high point of my year right here.
I'll box.
All interviews must be done in the ring from now on. In fact, this desk will stay. This is going to be my new office.
I'll box you, no?
Yeah.
No, no. Yeah.
All right, then. So why don't we start with the obvious? How did you end up in China?
So China, I came to China when I was 14 years old. Actually, on my 14th birthday, I landed in Taiwan. And I'm born in November, so actually that same year, I came over to China right after I turned 15. I was with my dad, who we came to Shenzhen. And back then, Shenzhen was it was just a fishing village. It was incredible coming across the border into the Iron Dragon. And we had these ideas of like, oh, when we go there, there'll be people with those little,
Those farmer hats.
those farmer hats, and there'll be guys with guns at the border.
People
you
doing
know,
Tai
and-
Chi. People doing Tai Chi.
Tai Chi and Mahjong on every corner. But it was actually, people were just like, get in, hurry up. You're obviously here to buy something or visit a factory. It was quite, it was a real industrial city back then, but it was still an adventure. But yeah, I very distinctly remember coming across the border. It was me, my dad, and my younger brother, Alan. Alan, of course, who lives in Dongguan. You've known him for a while. So, but yeah, I remember that we came into Shenzhen, and the only hotel we knew about was in Shenzhen University. This was the only one that was like on any website, right? So we get through on Lohu, and then we drive like almost, an hour and a half over to Shenzhen Dashi, and we're like, is this a hotel for foreigners? We could have just went to any hotel across the border.
You came from Taiwan, right?
Yeah. It was Taiwan, landed Hong Kong.
Did you speak any Chinese?
I actually learned like very basic Chinese in Australia. I had my own tutor.
Okay.
My parents, needless to say, were anything Chinese. They love it. They absolutely love anything Chinese.
Right.
I remember going to like Chinese carnivals in Brisbane.
Okay.
In Brisbane, Australia. We would be doing calligraphy, and it was
was
even
always
in
like that?
Australia. Yeah, that's something about my parents. They always loved anything Asian, particularly Chinese.
You said that at the border, people were saying, "Okay, you're coming here to buy something, but what were you coming to do here?" Let me adjust something 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling of coming across the border was very rushed. Everyone was coming over to go visit some factory. We were just one of those many people. Like they were just like, we weren't. We thought we'd be questioned and searched.
So why did you come in? I mean, your dad, he got a job here?
What was my dad had, he was in education, so we came with him, me and my brother. So it was the same, he was an educator, that same story. But he obviously was one of the first expats to be in Shenzhen doing education.
I came also almost 20 years ago, and from my perspective, I've seen the city of Dongguan change. You must have seen the city of Shenzhen change. I mean, what can you tell us about that? What's the most impressive thing about that?
Incredible. I think Shenzhen's a global city. Everyone at least that is involved in any kind of technology business should know the city of Shenzhen. It's the tech capital of the world. And to see from the very beginning how it was just a hole in the ground, and it rise up to become such a dominant, strong economic and especially tech-savvy city. I really enjoyed that because it's fueled my personal energy and my personal hustle.
But it wasn't like that back then.
No, not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close. It's the cleanest city in Shenzhen. They've been sort of bestowed the title of being
Cleanest in China, you mean?
Yeah, cleanest
in Guangdong?
in
China.
In China, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. It was supposed to be the most like ecologically friendly city in China.
Through the years, you meet a lot of people, you know a lot of people. how many of those people that you met at the beginning are still here? Is there a vast majority who stayed for the long haul, or a lot of people just left at some point?
Yeah. Very few veterans have stayed on. Usually, if you've stayed on, it's because it's for for a number of reasons. Probably one is that your business success is from China, so you continue your success by staying here. Another reason is people, they quote unquote they fall in love with China, right? So they, I mean, like I was telling you guys before, this has a there's many meanings to fall in love with China or to like China. Maybe it means you have like a Chinese wife, you start having kids here, your kids, and you're learning Chinese, you're fully absorbed into the culture. So you pretty much, it sort of becomes your home. That there's that side, but then there's people that just like, that maybe they fall in love with, with actually Chinese learning itself or martial arts, or just the way they do business here, and they get very into it and it becomes their lifestyle.
Or they might just get used to the way of life here, which is a very high level of life. The standard of living here is actually very comparable to the West. I mean, at least in cities like Shenzhen and Dongguan, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to come out and say that Shenzhen's not in anything like the rest of China, and I'm not saying that the rest of China is a whole.
I think a lot of experts in many cities say similar things.
Yes,
like they think their city is not like anything else, which is great. I think.
Yeah.
And what you said, Fernando, I think for me it's also a lot. You live in a place for so long. I live in Dongguan for almost 17 years. You get to know the place for so well that it's so comfortable.
It gets comfortable. Yeah. You get you sort of get stuck in that little rut and you're happy with it.
And
you're
know
like,
the
I'll
city
make it work.
well. Have you lived in any other cities in China?
I lived in Shanghai for quite a bit because I used to work up there, but I would always fly back at least once a month. I would go between these two.
So Shenzhen and Shanghai, they are your cities in China.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came in almost 20 years ago. You went to that hotel in the university, the only place you could find online. Well, was barely online back then, right?
That's right. It was a website, some random review,
like ugly website.
Yeah, I think my dad was on some like educator website, and people were saying, don't eat this food, and try this beer, and this restaurant's good. The pillows, it was like this a bunch of educators.
You said your family was into Chinese things. Long before that. I mean, did your father speak any Chinese?
My dad actually still speaks very, very good Chinese, and my mom as well.
Oh wow!
My mom came and visited me about, I think it was maybe it's about 4 months ago. Just now, I hadn't seen her in a while, so I asked her to come over, and her Chinese is still phenomenal.
Really?
She landed straight away, like, oh, I know how to say that. I know. Just
I wonder what made them. I mean, just going to Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, I know my older brother and my older sister went to Chinese school in Australia. I had the tutor at home, but they actually had to go to Chinese school.
Do you know why?
Well,
Do you know?
Look, I think that probably the potential. I mean, a lot of adult people at that age will say, "Oh, the potential of
But
China."
this we're talking about 30 years ago, basically.
Yes, it's
That
like 30 years
your
ago.
parents started to go into this. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I like why China? That's a very good question.
We would say, of course,
should
China.
invite them.
Yes, why China? And it's funny now because they're gone back to Australia, so I'm still here with my brother.
Right.
They've, I think that their adventure has ended in China, so they kind of want to settle down. They want to live a more paced, quiet life.
Right.
So they're not really interested in moving back to China at all. Like
they're probably happy they got someone to visit.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of like they're over it now, but we're still here, right? We're still here.
So you came in, you were 15.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is the high school. Right?
Yep. I was
age. What did you do? Did you go to an international school or?
No. My school was always in Australia. I just did distance education. Actually, something interesting, a little fun fact: Australia is the world leader in distance education, and the reason being is because Australia, a lot of it's desert.
Right.
So people just live on the coast, but there's a lot of families that live in the middle of Australia.
So that's in the middle of nowhere, region. Basically.
Yeah, and they rely heavily on a very well coordinated distance education system. So our school was good to.
So what is distance education? How do you do it from here with Australia?
Well, in Australia, this is what I know because I've been to Australia a couple of times. Is they listen to the radio or they watch TV shows, and then for the third graders, turn on the TV at 8 o'clock, and and they mail you the exams, and your dad sits.
Everything's mailed. Yep, you have there's like a platform that you register. You have your code. you have all your teachers' emails, and you email them, and you send them everything direct to them. You communicate, and if need be, if the assignment or the task, whatever it is, allows for it, you actually can have a call too. I did maybe a few, not too many calls.
Let me ask you this: did it work for you?
I mean, it works because I would have basically been in the same. If I was in Brisbane, I would have been on the same system. I would have still been doing. But so it's nice to be.
You followed by yourself. Your dad had to.
Yeah. Obviously, my mom and dad, it's like, come on, come on, you got to actually do the work. But if you don't, you will get emails from your teacher saying you're late on these assignments and things like this.
Do they do this in any other country?
Not that I know. But I was just about to say that because of this particular reality of Australia, Australians are some of the most self-sufficient people that I know. They're extremely resourceful. Like, oh, this is not working. Just give me a crowbar or something. They don't fix anything because they have to do everything for themselves, by themselves, when they're living just out there in the bush.
So how do you socialize with other kids when you're 15? Distance education.
In China, back at that time, I remember what was very big was a shooting game called CS, Counter-Strike. It was massive at that time. And I remember going and meeting actually a lot of friends and doing, we would call it Wamba Internet Cafe.
So Chinese friends.
Yeah. So we would play a lot at that game. I remember that was big. And skateboarding. I remember there was a
skateboarding.
Yeah, this culture was kind of coming into its own in Shenzhen, and there was a couple of friends that were getting into it, and
So that's still high school age.
Yeah.
You remember, where did you live in Shenzhen?
We lived in Futian, the center.
So that was the up and coming. That was the place.
Yeah. That was a nice area.
That age is when you start like picking up girls and having girlfriends. Was it difficult to get girls at that time?
Yeah, of course, because you're like, I can't speak the language, but then of course, as you get older, you have to figure it out, right?
The language of love.
I don't have an option. I need to figure out how to court a girl in Chinese. I need to figure this out. But yeah.
Any resistance? I mean, were girls into?
I remember it not working most of the time, but then I think I found the formula, and I managed to do it. Yeah, it was good.
Did you?
Yeah.
So did you always have Chinese girlfriends or any foreign girls, or there are not too many?
No, I mean in my younger years as a teenager here, I think I kind of you got that the culture shock. So I was open to dating Chinese women, but I think I kind of stayed in my own comfort zone of
foreign girls.
And then as I got older, that switched because I became more accustomed to the culture. I kind of got it. And it was more, wasn't as standoffish, because I think that's the most thing with when you go to another country. It's just if you don't get it, you don't engage with it. But then once you start to understand it, you start to accept.
But basically, you don't discriminate. You had both.
Yeah. I'm open. Yeah.
For me, one of the things that has happened after living so long in China is that I've lost contact with my Colombian. Like the roots, so the music, the TV, the
culture.
stuff, the culture of that. Has that happened to you, or have you been able to stay up to date with the music and the artists and the movies?
Ugh, I'm terrible.
You don't know the references.
Yeah. I'm like,
slang.
who won the
you don't like Vegemite.
Yeah. Like my mom will she tries to keep me up to date with the rugby and all of the who's winning and everything, but I can't keep up with it. It's
You do rugby?
Yeah. I love rugby. I learned rugby while I was here, and I got into it.
That's interesting. How did that happen? I mean,
Rugby Asia has a very strong social rugby
in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong,
Shenzhen is very
everywhere,
close,
everywhere. Because expats will come over and they'll be in finance businesses or international school businesses. Or Shenzhen, back in the day, a lot of expats were here for oil. They were oil boys. So it was oil boys, it was pilots, and international schools. And a lot of these guys, they played rugby as kids, so they would just create, social teams themselves and then tournaments. And I remember I flew to Bangkok in Thailand for a social rugby 10s tournament, and it was all social rugby, but there was like over 100 teams there from all over Asia.
So the other kids around were awesome. Kind of, most of them were rich.
You mean
the other kids around here, Shenzhen at that time? There were a lot of rich kids.
Yeah, like the rich Like China has so many different levels of rich.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know, it's kind of like you've got like the second generation rich, where the daddies all own factories, and they never work, and they never will need to work.
Right.
So their job is just to burn money, because it literally comes so much faster
There's
than
so
they
much
can
money.
use it.
Do something.
Yeah, and so those are all the cars.
Right.
You know, that's what, you know, all the KTVs are occupied by these guys. The clubs, you know, all of the alcohol consumption of all the, you know, any champagne.
Right,
That's
right.
all the second generation rich, because the people that really own the factories, they're usually very busy.
And they're older. They're not
Yeah,
so...
they don't waste money on things, on showy stuff, right? They usually, you know, they drink at tea houses. You know, they go off to some faraway place.
So the second generation is what you call the Tuhao?
Tuhao, yeah, or
Tuhao is also like the one that got rich
Tuhao.
quick.
Yeah,
The farmer
rich, yeah,
like
they-
they have no taste.
yeah, that's
Like
right.
in Colombia, we had the drug dealers. That would be a Tuhao.
The
would be
Tuhao in
Yeah,
Colombia.
like, so you're nobody, and all of a sudden you're a billionaire. Like,
That's right.
That would be the
So you
Tuhao.
buy stuff, it's all ugly. But
We call them
you can-
magicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I meant actually more like the expat kids.
No, the expat kids. Yeah, I mean, if their parents were like, either in oil, or if they were as pilots, they would always go to those international schools. And I think they were well off, but it was mainly. But a contract is all relative. Like usually, their housing is provided by their company and everything like that. So it didn't necessarily mean that they would just have, you know,
Right.
money to burn their parents.
Do you feel sorry you didn't go to an international school? Or to a Chinese school even?
Yeah, I mean, a Chinese school would have been great. A foreign language school, my Chinese would be a lot better, for sure.
How is your Chinese?
I don't know. I
Mama
think his would be better. I think yours would be better.
I don't-
Fernando.
So the three of us.
Thank you, but I don't think so.
the three of us. It's
No,
not something
I
we'd
think you're
excel in.
probably better, but it's not as good as you want it to be, right?
Not as good as I'd want it to be, and I think that's how it always should be. You shouldn't. You know, it's a mountain you're always climbing, right? And sometimes it's not knowing Chinese. It's kind of knowing the right Chinese. You know, it's like as long as I
Yes.
know this little category, this level, I'll be good. This
So
can
your
get me.
problem is that your Chinese girlfriend speaks English, yeah?
Yeah, she speaks perfect English.
That's my problem. The same, my
Yeah.
wife.
Speaks
All right.
perfect.
But you got into the fitness business or the fitness industry.
Right.
At what age did you make that decision? What led you to pursue
Yeah,
that?
you're quite big and strong. Were you always like this when you were 15?
I was younger. Yeah, I was good. Younger,
Yeah?
I was
Even more?
I was an Adonis. Yeah,
So how did it
I
start?
was a Greek god.
basically,
Now
all
I'm
this-
I'm withering.
You're
Because of the
withering.
ruins or what?
Yeah, I'm withering. I think after a lot of work, it starts to go the other way. You lose that young sort of
Well, look at us and feel
young
better.
energy.
But how did it? Yeah, so like Fernando said, how did it start?
It started when I was in China. My older brother came to visit me in Shenzhen, and I was at that time I was gymming and doing martial arts like on a daily basis. I didn't spend my time doing anything else. Pretty much, I was just reading bodybuilding.com. Buying every fitness magazine I could get my eyes on and just training it. I was just obsessed with it. And he gave me this idea, and I'll never forget. This is a conversation that, again, stuck in my head, and it's been in my head for a long time. He was like, John, why don't you train people? And I remember when he said that, I was like, is that even a thing? I thought it wasn't even a thing.
When
I
was
thought
that?
it was a joke.
When was that? Like,
How old were you?
I would have been like 18, maybe
Okay.
17, 18.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe around 18. And he's like, you should train people. You should be a personal trainer. And him saying that, I didn't. It's not that I didn't know what that was, like what job that was. I didn't even know what a person, it was a new word for me. It was an entire new, and I was like, what does that mean? I was like, what does that mean? What do you do? What do you do when you do that? Right. And he was like, he said, you tell people, because my brother's, him, contrary to me, he's grown up a lot in the U.S. and he's extremely successful in the U.S. Very hard. You know, Americans have that real hustle, like get it done kind of a they're aggressive. They very hard sales, right? He was like, John, you tell people, you say, do you want to look like Arnold? I'll make you look like that.
I like
And I was
Arnold,
like, that's brilliant. It stuck in my head, and I was like, that's it.
It's the first.
That's
sales
my
pitch.
sale. I'll just say, do you want to look like Arnold? I'll do that. Like that. I'll do that.
take you
I'll
there.
do that thing for you.
So that was. Well, first
Yeah.
of all, you say your brother. I mean, I just want to say you have 6. You're 6. You have 5 brothers.
I have 5 brothers. Yeah,
You have 5 brothers.
5 brothers.
And they're like, you are the.
I'm number 4.
You're number
I'm
4.
number 4. I have an older sister.
Well, just quickly, where are they now in the world?
All of them are in Australia or in the US.
Okay.
I'm just here with Alan. That's it.
So
It's just me and
you're
Alan.
in China, Australia, and the US.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, how did you get your first customer?
First
how did-
Arnold.
I mean, your
Yeah.
first Arnold wannabe.
Yeah, at that time, my mother was in China, and I was like, "Mom, I'll train you." So
Yeah.
my mom was like, "Okay."
Go try.
But, yeah, I'll get you warmed up. But yeah, and then there was I remember some friend was like, "Can you teach me stuff?" And I said, "Can you just pay me 50 renminbi? Can you pay me?" And I remember that if it was 50
Right.
renminbi. And I was kind of like, because personal training is personal training. It's something that I've become very, very good at. It's your ability to connect with someone.
Mhm.
It's not the guidance, the information is not what it's about. It's your ability to connect and motivate someone. That's the craft. And I was developing this craft.
So it's coaching. It's not about
all the information you can find online.
Yeah, that's
You
the
just
thing. I
Google
mean,
it.
the
You just-
science is
Right.
there. The
How
science
do I
and the
lose
methods
weight?
are
It's
there.
like,
it's how good of a
Google.
leader, motivator.
That's right. Yeah, you're inspiring people to change themselves, and there's a technique because everyone's different, and sometimes you have to be like a drill sergeant. Other times you have to be like really encouraging, like maybe say a lot of words of encouragement throughout and before. Sometimes people like it when you ask them about their day, like Sally, for example, she'd be like, "How was your kids? Tell me about your kids." Okay, let's go. And they're exercising as their everyone's different.
So
you have to learn how to.
When did you realize
engage.
that?
This was
Yeah.
the journey I took.
Right.
And then as I became good at it, I became very busy, very, very busy, very fast.
Very quick, very busy.
Very busy, very fast.
You have so what did you? First one was 50, but
50 RMB. My last client, and this is
Yeah.
I'm not boasting, I'm not joking. This was normal. My last client was 1,000 RMB for 30 minutes, and I was sick of it. I was like, the 30 minutes, I wasn't like, "Oh, good sir, good on." Like it was like, "No, get in, go run," and I would be sitting there like, I can't.
Why?
When you say your last is, you don't do it anymore? Or
I
you mean
don't-
your latest?
My last client.
Okay.
I don't do any personal training now. But I am like, if someone's like, can you train me? What I do is I say buy like access to my club, my little gym, what I got here, and then train with me.
Yeah.
I'll train at these times every morning. You just join me.
Oh,
So you're
That's
selling
like-
the membership. And
I'm just like selling the club, like this. The
I don't
club.
train you. I
Yeah.
allow you to train with me.
with me. Yeah.
Tell me why
Yeah.
you said you were sick of it. Why?
Because personal training, I think from beginning to end, let's say 6-7 years, maybe 8 was the entire time that I did personal training. Every time you're personal training, you're giving. There's so much energy you're giving. It's motivation. You're doing great. You're doing great. And sometimes you just don't have any more. And you reach a point where you've years and years of you just motivate. You kind of like need some motivation yourself.
Okay.
And towards the end, I was just exhausted.
You
I
got
was
burned out.
mentally exhausted.
Okay.
Yeah. I was-
That makes sense.
And when people say train me, they say train me to lose weight or train me to do a specific sport, a specific event,
yeah.
like mud races, like stuff like that.
Most of the time, at least what I believe and what I've taught, because going further, I opened up a lot of gyms and I had trainers. So I would train them to train trainers, not to train people.
All right, let's continue after the break.
All right, guys, we're going to see you in a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Boom.
All right, guys, so we're back, and we are going to play the first of our 2 games in our podcast. So, John, this is called This or That. Ziv, how does that work?
So we're going to give you choices, 2 choices which you need to choose, and then let us know why you chose what you chose.
Okay.
All right, Cool. So, Zip, when are you beginning?
All right, I'll start.
Okay.
And by the way, we are on Instagram right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we are on my Instagram live. We
Right.
are live right now.
We want to do a lot more of this kind of setup, so keep an eye open for.
All right,
of
so
course, China.
my first this or that is leg day or chest day.
When I was young, leg day. Now, chest day.
Why?
Because now I'm getting older. My back, my knees are not as strong. So
Chest day is easier.
yeah, chest day is kind of like the chest is a muscle you can brutalize a lot, but legs, deep, heavy squats, it's not something you can do as you get
So
older.
you're gonna end up like this.
Yeah, am I gonna end up with flamingo legs? I don't know.
That's what my wife calls me.
Yes, I'm scared. No, if that starts to happen, I'll go back to leg day.
Like that. All right, Fernando.
All right, my question. In terms of diet, keto or paleo?
Keto or paleo?
Paleo.
Keto is a high-fat diet. It's a diet where you're primarily eating fats. Paleo diet being from the Paleolithic era. And that is like when you only eat things that are grown. How does that work? I don't quite... I know that's the CrossFit diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so probably just short answer, I would go keto. Keto because I did keto before. I never did paleo. But keto is very good for losing weight.
Right, I did that.
For burning.
It worked well.
Yeah, it's a good fat burning diet. The thing that you all have to remember about fat burning diets when you do them, you lose fat, is one, you lose a lot of weight, and two, you lose a lot of energy. So don't look at some guy or girl on Instagram who has amazing muscles and say, oh my God, I can see their abs. I want to try a weight loss diet.
Right.
That diet and that picture have nothing to do with each other. In order to get a large amount of muscle mass and to have biceps, abs, you need a lot of energy, right? So those two don't go together.
But I did keto. I did keto and it worked. I lost a lot of weight a couple of years ago, and I was not tired. I had energy, even more than usual. But maybe not energy for fighting or something like that, I guess. But anyway, I got next question. All right. So this one is cars or women?
Women. I am not a car guy.
You're not a car guy.
Yeah, go somewhere else. I'm not a car guy, and I'm not a watch guy.
No?
Yeah.
So simple guy.
Someone's like, do you know that car? I'm like, don't care. Don't care.
I'm the same. Fernando hates you right now.
But you recognize my car. Yeah. All right. Question about boxing, because you say you like boxing. Tyson or Mayweather?
Tyson. Mike Tyson all day. Mike Tyson. If you take every other boxer, put them all together, I'd still choose Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's the greatest. Mike Tyson is the absolute greatest boxer that's ever walked this planet. Ever.
All right.
The second greatest is Tyson
He's a cool
Fury,
and funny dude,
who was
too.
named after Mike Tyson. He's my big hero.
All right, so boxing still offense or defense?
Defense. Defense is longevity in a fight. If you want to box for a long time, don't go offense. Offense, you're going to get hit a lot. Even if you don't get hit, you're going to block, but it's a lot of impact to your body, your frame. So a better strategic fight for boxing is defense. The longest...
Makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Muhammad Ali, defense.
Yeah.
Money Mayweather, defense.
It's all about defense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Monster or Red Bull? I think
Monster all day. I love these guys.
What's the difference?
I don't know. It's just the taste, the
marketing.
component. Yeah, I mean, I find a Red Bull a bit syrupy. I don't like it. It seems a bit too thick. It seems a bit artificial. This tastes artificial, but Red Bull just seems a bit more.
Still not sponsored by Monster and Red Bull. If you want to sponsor us, don't listen to
Don't
what he's
listen to
saying,
this guy.
Okay?
This is the first time I tried Monster, and I'm feeling it.
Really? Is this the first time?
Yeah.
Oh.
I usually have Red Bull, but not Monster.
I can crush these bad boys. Give me three maybe.
All right, next one. The beach or the pool?
The beach. I was in the beach yesterday. I'm a beach
I can
guy.
see you're pretty red.
Yeah, I got burnt.
Yeah, you got burned.
I was actually worried about this interview because I was like red yesterday.
Which beach? That's your favorite?
If we're talking about Shenzhen, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say Shenzhen. Keep it relevant. There's a beach that I went to. I went for my birthday and I took my mom there. It's in Da Peng Bay. And I find that particular beach, it's a private beach. It's very nice.
Private.
Private, anybody can go to it.
Yeah.
but it's still like private because it's not so easy to find.
Xichong or Dongchong?
Dongchong, Xichong, I don't really like. Dongchong is kind of those are a bit too commercial now. Back in the day, like let's say 8 years ago, those were great spots, but it's overrun now. It's absolutely overrun now. Everybody's
it's your turn now.
Yeah, it's my turn.
yeah.
All right. Khabib or McGregor?
Khabib.
The beast.
Khabib,
He's an animal.
I mean, Khabib, McGregor, I have huge respect for him, but as a fighter, he's primarily a promoter. He's a great fighter as well, and I like the way he's promoted himself. He's built his value, but the way he did it is by being a smack talker, by talking shit, and it is a way to do it, and nothing against him. I don't believe he means half of the things he says. He's just he's like, guys, I'm a fighter. I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. I need to make money now. I need to get as much as I can so my kids can go to college, right? I get that. But the way Khabib did it is he stayed very respectful. It's maybe a bit longer. I believe he will reach the same value as McGregor, but he's done it in a way that I kind of admire more. Meaning, like if I had kids, I would say, hey, don't follow that guy. Don't listen to that guy, McGregor. Listen to this.
I love the press conference before the fight when he's just talking smack about him, and he's just just collected and just
And usually fighters that don't play the smack talk game don't get famous, but Khabib, just by being the way he is, he said the right things and he's now rising. He's still behind, but I believe he's going to be.
He's got your respect, but McGregor is the guy that everybody is like.
It's too much. He's too much. He needs to calm it down now. He can't be hitting old people in bars and stuff like that.
Right.
All his fans are going to be like, come on, dude. He's going to start dropping away. His fans are going to start.
All right. My next question is Shenzhen or Brisbane?
I would say Shenzhen. If I did have a pick of the two, I would say Shenzhen. Shenzhen there's a lot of opportunities. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of things you have to get through. You know, it's not all fun and games, but nothing good ever is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still good to be in a place where all the latest stuff is happening. Shenzhen is the epicenter of anything to do with technology. It's all going to start here. And I like that. I like to be the one, the first to the party kind of guy, right? I saw that first. I like that.
Last one, Fernando?
Yeah, I'll finish it up. Okay. This is going to be a little bit insulting, but I'll ask Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube?
4 choices.
For Instagram, Twitter.
Because we're live on Instagram over there, but...
I'm actually not so good at either of them, but it would probably be Instagram. In the sense that I need to get better at using it. I'm not that good at it. My big platform that I like is LinkedIn. I'm a big
LinkedIn.
I like LinkedIn.
I like LinkedIn too. I like it. Yeah.
Because the thing about LinkedIn is you can choose your community.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone is posting or is engaging with your feed in a way you don't like, you can easily be like, bye-bye. You can kind of choose your followers and you can keep your network strong and you can all work with each other, right?
All right, Johnson, that was this or that. Thanks for playing, man.
Love it.
So let's continue our talk.
We were on fitness.
We were on fitness, yeah. Fitness, you were saying that you just kind of got sick with personal training.
Oh, yeah.
You were actually making good money, but you got burnt out.
Yeah.
And
what was that question?
Yeah.
I
you had
how
something.
much money you were making, or
So how much money can you make in a month as a personal trainer? I mean,
well, yes, because I went from I took my price about to the highest it possibly could, and this happens in many service-based businesses.
And I guess that depends on the city too.
Yeah, it depends on the city for sure. Like you'll raise your per hour value, let's say, but then also your network will start, your clientele will drop because people can't afford that. So they'll say, look, I'll have to go to this other trainer. So it all kind of becomes relative. And I did do the numbers. I remember back when I was personal training, and I kind of couldn't break like 500,000 renminbi a year. I couldn't break that. I couldn't get any higher than that. And that was like, I remember my Monday, I worked like I remember it was a 16-hour day. I'm not joking. 16 hours a day.
So that's a lot.
I would train someone, and on the side, I'd be chewing protein bars and drinking and like, go, yeah. And I would not stop.
So you can make 500,000 renminbi a year, which is what, $70,000?
70,000.
I remember it was around this much, and that's the money I used
later.
to grow my first
But
gym.
still on the personal trainer. So, we think that some people watching our channel are people that are thinking about China. They haven't been here, they haven't worked here, but they're thinking of coming here. So if someone is watching that is a personal trainer in whatever, Ireland or wherever, do you recommend people to come here pursuing this career in China?
Do I recommend it? Now it's extremely different. It's very, very different.
In what sense?
I mean, I don't. So the question specifically being, there's a personal trainer overseas,
Yes.
wants to come
He's
to
sick
China,
of his home country,
yeah,
whatever.
and he wants to be a personal trainer here. I would say no, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You're in a well-developed city like Shenzhen. What's happening now is you'll have a lot of Haigui, right?
So this
second
is their
generation. They're coming back.
Coming
They've all
back,
got-
overseas students.
Yeah, they're like they've got a health and science degree or something, and they'll come over and they'll enter into the
The pool
fitness
of-
scene. Yeah,
okay.
and they're likely to have that edge, and even it's foreigners, like a white person training here is not, or just let's say a foreigner, is I don't think has as much leverage.
How
No,
about
I don't think.
I mean, because a lot of countries' economy not so good right now. How about even gyms, right? Some gyms are looking for trainers. You're coming for a job at the gym that is maybe upscale gym. Maybe entering China in that way. I'm sitting at home in Ireland and like I want to get out of here. I want to go to China. What can I do? What do I know? I know personal training. It's still, you would say, better not?
No, I don't. I think they'll have a great time enjoying the cultural change and enjoying the different sides of the industry here versus back in their home country. That it'll be a good learning experience.
Okay.
But if they're like, I want to make more, I want to grow, I don't
Okay.
know. There's a lot. There's so much adaptation you have to do for the language, for the culture, for the working, the living, the business environment that you would have to do and have all of that set before you could even think about being successful as a personal trainer.
Because that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to ask you because I think that the business of fitness, it's somewhat different in China as it is in the West. I asked you during the preparation about the certifications and how do gyms make money, how do coaches make money. So why don't we talk a little bit about the business of gyms themselves? Why do they open and close every 5 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, short answer is rent. It's rent. Having this fixed cost on a business that relies so much on membership, like so say for example, one day you don't sell a single membership, and then the next day you'll sell 5. It's not like a restaurant where you can have some form of consistency. It's extremely inconsistent. Second is huge competition. Back in the day when I first came here, there was not many gyms, and this was a relatively new thing.
I remember. No gyms.
Yeah,
in China.
you could add something special like some new machine or a foreign coach or some cool brand name or some cool innovative way of marketing, and you would stand out so much you would get all the business. But then everyone started doing that, and suddenly it became too much competition.
Right.
And now you throw a stone, you'll hit a gym in Shenzhen. It is a gym for everyone.
How maybe give us the insight of how do gyms work in China? What's the model?
Specifically for China, you would a gym business is where there's a huge capital investment in the beginning because of equipment, especially if you want to buy equipment that will last a long time. You're building a gym and you're thinking, okay, 5 years, I have to have this baby still open. You're buying equipment that'll still be good, durable, and you can imagine the wear and tear that it would have had on those 5 years. It still needs to be standing. So that means there's quite a substantial expense there. So you need a large amount of money right at the beginning, right? You need to do, you obviously need to renovate the place. You need to
maintain it.
Maintain, yeah. You mandatory. You need to have showers. You have to have bathrooms. I mean, like looking at the numbers when you're opening. Let's say you're opening up an office, some other business, a trading company, and you're in an office. There's usually a bathroom that is a communal use of the office, right?
Yeah.
For the guy across the neighbor or whatever. And you'll pay like a high management fee. But with a gym, you need to have your own bathroom, and that cost alone, just on renovation, is something you need
Quite
to think
high.
about. Yeah. So a lot of times, people that want to open up a fitness gym, at least in one of these scenarios, will be a fitness person. So they love doing gym. Like myself when I was young, I loved pumping iron. I thought I was the next Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I just want to be in my happy place all the day, right? That's it. But the problem is I don't make enough money on personal training to fund, to pay rent, to pay utilities, to pay staff, to pay for renovation, to pay for all this equipment. So then I have to find people that do have this money, right? So I got to say, come on, help me. Let's do this together. And usually the way it's done in China is the fitness community will acquire the investment from, let's say, the money people, let's call them that, and then they will need to quickly make this money back. They'll need to
just pay it off.
Yeah, they'll need to at least show a certain amount of earning to honor the investment, right? Maybe it's not, they'll just say, give me my money back at this, let's say 6 months after opening, and then I'll continue to, encourage,
and when we talked about it before, you said, and this is why they're just trying to get the customers in. They don't really care too much about the customers. Some gyms, I guess.
Yeah, they'll pack them in. They'll just be like for you, sell 6 years. They'll sell,
Fernando.
They'll give you this, they give you that. They just need that money to pay off the investor, so the investor's happy. The investor is happy with the investment he's made, and he's maybe happy to invest more should they need it. And then they start running the actual business, right? So another question you asked me earlier was you were talking about membership.
Right.
So when you get deep into gym business, is the size of the gym dictates its membership capacity.
Right. That's something I don't understand. Maybe you can explain more. Yeah.
So all the gyms that I made only had a capacity of about 600.
How do you calculate the capacity?
It's based on the actual size of the floor space, but also kind of. Okay, so there are people that they're your morning, they're your morning.
They want
guys,
to get it out of the day,
and then you got your lunch break people, right? They got the housewives, right? And then you got your quick out of work people, right? And then you got the evening slot. These certain slots and
so how many slots? Like what's the common know-how? That's what you're telling us.
Yeah, obviously the biggest slot is after work, so it'd be 6 maybe till 10, right? So you got to think this biggest space. How many people can I fit in here? And what's the average consistency per week? Let's say usually it'd be about 2. But if you're generous, you say about 3. So the average customer, if you push them, and usually this applies for personal training, will enter your gym 3 times. With motivation, but without a personal trainer, let's say 2. Without motivation, without a week. They come in a week.
3 times a week.
So so about once a week. So you kind of like you do all the math,
the
and
Excel.
then you're like, we need 600. After you have 600, your business it's going. It's in a circle and it can keep going. Then you can maybe look at a second location.
Wait. So okay, I get that. Makes sense, and I'm sure there are many small details there. What's the percentage of those people? I'm sure you know some of it. But what I'm interested to know is, so I think I see gyms that maybe can fit 600 people, but they sell 2,000.
Yeah.
So what's there? I mean, also there is the percent of how many people don't show up. 0 times a week. Or
I think a lot of businesses are counting on that.
So how does that work? Like, what's the...
Yeah, I mean, if they sell 2,000, they've done extremely well.
Financially, but maybe they'll have a problem.
Yeah, but they need to honor those memberships and stay open. And and like if someone's for 6 years, then they have to think, okay, we've got all of that. Maybe we've got some cash in the bank, so maybe we can, for a few months, we can pay all the utilities, rent, and everything. But now we need to start finding new people to pack in here, or we need to find new ways to sell these people, sell them. Smoothies or sandwiches, or sell them a T-shirt or some, get them to an event we organize.
And that's when it's all starting to go down.
Yeah, that's when it gets technical. So I know there's like a very common con that was done when I first came here was they'd sell all the memberships and the guy would run away with the money. That happened all the time.
Yeah.
All the time it happened, but now it doesn't happen as much because
consumer protection.
Yeah, it's a lot of legal stuff to protect.
In the setup of a gym, for example, how do you plan for the type of machines that you're going to buy, and I mean, because for example, you buy a machine for legs, but you have 40 people coming at that particular slot. So how do you determine how many leg machines you're going to buy, or different kinds? Or
Yeah, there's an art to this as well. I should give like a full seminar on this because
you should.
This is another a very, very good question, because so what you want to do is you want every piece of equipment takes up space. So in a sense that piece of equipment needs to pay its rent out of your entire space. So you want equipment. The first rule is the first secret. I'm going to tell this. This is my little secret here. The secret is you got to get a piece of equipment that a woman uses. Because if a woman uses it, you get a personal trainer on that. Then that baby's making you money. The only way that machine can return you money is if it's used in a personal training program. Right?
You've gone into a rabbit hole.
This is very, very deep. Yeah, we're going deep.
Yeah.
So I would never buy calf raise machines. No woman would want their calf raise.
What is it?
It's like
The
a
one that
movement.
you put on your tiptoes and
Okay.
Useless, absolutely useless for
Because
making
they
money.
don't use it.
It's expensive, takes up a lot of room, and the only guys that want to use it are the massive bodybuilders. Massive bodybuilders never want to pay for a gym membership. They always are like, "What's the lowest membership you can sell me, and can I bring my entire family with
If
it?"
you're about to open a gym, you better listen right now. Yeah.
Whereas a woman who's well off, some rich housewife who wants to come in and do personal training, she's my target. She will keep my business open. So I don't want a bunch of bodybuilders around her that scare her away. So I do not want those machines.
Okay.
I want
Fernando is dying to ask stuff.
yeah.
overweight woman or fit woman.
Well,
Who's a better customer?
China as a country, in its culture is not overweight. Like when you compare it to countries like America or the West, right?
Yeah.
It is. So women that are somewhat plump, right? A little bit portly, they're like, oh, I want to tone up, or I want to stay. As I get older, I want to still stay toned.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of that's your customer.
That's a better customer?
Yeah. That is the best customer. And I don't think it's just for China.
Because they'll keep coming.
they'll
They've
keep
been
coming.
doing it.
They're consistent.
The fat woman probably will give
They're
up.
motivated.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. A very large woman would need a very good personal trainer who motivates her. And she shows up not to lose weight, but to see him.
So for people
And
that
he
don't know,
makes her feel good. That's personal training. That's personal
that's
training.
one of the ways to motivate, like
Yes.
you said, right?
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, they haven't been to China and maybe they go to gyms in the West, how does gym membership works? We kind of mentioned it, but we didn't say it. So in China, you pay yearly, right?
A year, yeah.
Or even, Fernando, how many years you
Upfront.
paid for?
Well, the thing is that when I walk to the door and they say like, okay, it's like 3,000 a year, and I go, no, I'm not gonna do that shit.
Right.
How about 5 years? How about 3 years? How about 6 years? And then it kept on going down. So like, okay, because the cash at that point
So
was
you-
not a big issue for
So
me.
you
I
bought
just,
a membership for 6 years
Yeah,
up there in
12,000.
advance.
yeah, 12,000.
I think anyone in the US watching you think you're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I thought I was nuts when I walked up to the gym and it was closed.
yeah. But then, what's your
Yeah.
story? So they sold you.
Yeah, basically they get like a customer database and then they sell it to another gym, and then they told me, okay, now you go to that gym over there.
But it's
I made a
still-
video about that.
They respect
Yeah.
your membership. You
Well,
can-
yeah, they did honor it.
Yeah.
For example, I bought the VIP service, so
Right.
I was also VIP at the other
Right.
gym.
Right.
And then 5 months later, the same thing. So in 6 years, I went to 4 different gyms. On the and the rates were higher at that other gym, so I just kept on
What-
upgrading my.
what's
So you had
Here you go.
you say 4 different gyms in 6 years?
Yes, 4 different gyms
so
in 6 years.
so when I came to China, actually we didn't. There weren't gyms. There weren't gyms almost, and then the Total Fitness was there first.
Mhm.
So John, what's the cheapest yearly gym membership you've seen here in China?
Yeah, like $2,000, 1,800.
That's in
RMB.
Shenzhen.
Yeah, but
Probably
these are
less
like,
in other cities.
yeah, like out in the sort of more far out places.
And what's the most expensive
highest? Like 18, 22,
A year.
28 a month.
Yeah, a
A
month?
month.
one? What do you mean?
Like hotel gyms.
2,800.
Yeah.
No,
20
28,000.
Oh, yeah, 28,000 a year. Sorry,
28,000
but it's
a year.
inside a hotel.
Okay.
Usually,
Right.
hotel gyms kind of go up to this because you
Are-
get
are
like
they-
jacuzzi,
but-
you get a pool.
Are
you
they
get a
good? You like
sauna.
hotel
Oh, they're
gyms?
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
like
feel
it?
you feel like a baller, right?
Right. With who you are today, you can just go to any gym and work out. They let you in for free, knowing the industry and stuff like that.
Yeah, some of them I've still got really good relationships with, but the gym industry right now is still evolving. It's still growing. We're in a tech savvy city, so a lot of technology is coming into the
Into the
scene.
industry.
Yeah.
I want to talk about certifications, because when my wife joined the gym, there were coaches like, oh, I can train you. Oh, I can train you. Oh, I speak English, so I can train you both. But I was like, but who are you? You're just a big guy.
Mhm.
I don't know how that works in China.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give us an idea of
Yeah. I mean, right when I first came, education, like fitness education, was really lacking. But from what I've seen right now, especially in a place like Shenzhen, even South China as a whole,
Yeah.
is the level of qualification, of education is extremely high. Like all the big fitness educating bodies that are in the West are all here. They all have an office here. They all provide bilingual education, everything like that. So but see, this
What
is
would be some of those names of those?
like ACE, the American Council of Exercise. That's probably the top one. That's
Okay.
the best one. Let me think of another one, like NASM, NASM.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be the National Academy of Sports Medicine. That's another big one. My one was ISSA, the International Sports Sciences Association. There's so many. There's so many. Every time they've always been created, because in the U.S. to create it, it's like you'd need a board of educators that
Yeah.
are all backed. Then you apply to have this accreditation.
Mm-hmm.
Once that comes through, yeah.
It's funny that you asked this, Fernando, because you, as a foreigner, I think you care about that. Yes, you think about that. Do Chinese customers even ask?
Not really. They just want someone that is the
That's the way I want to
the
look.
part. Yeah,
I want to look like Arnold.
But that's the thing. Coming back to, and I think this is the point I was saying before, is what I was telling. This is exactly the point I was telling before we played the game. What I would tell my trainers, that when I opened up a gym, I'd get a team of trainers, and I would coach them to coach clients, right? So what I would tell them is, I would say, it's very important that you focus on your education, that you are up to par with the latest. And some of them, in some aspects of fitness, went much higher than me. Like exercise therapy, I had a couple of trainers that were masters of exercise therapy, way higher than my exercise therapy credit. But they couldn't communicate with people. They couldn't connect with people. When they presented themselves in the way that you just said, oh, you're a big person. They weren't a personality. They were like a cyborg.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, if you focus on your ability to connect, you will sell. So even if your education isn't the best, as long as you're safe, like say, for example, you're extremely safe, you got your rehab is sorted, right? Your basic knowledge of fitness is good, but your connectability to the client is that still is very hard to find in China. You'll get people that just sort of come up, they'll do a bicep flex and they'll be like, do you want me to be your trainer? And you're like, no, you need to motivate me to be better than me.
Sell me.
Like I'm impressed with how you are, but that does nothing for me. I got to go back home and.
But like you said before, you figured it out.
Yeah.
But
I was like,
stopped.
you need to give, like in a mental way, you need to give that to your clients. You need to think.
Do you think you're ever gonna go back to this, or maybe just for the few very special customers?
I will. We should save that for the next segment.
All right.
That's where it's going to get interesting. Yes.
All right, and we are back with Graham Harper. So, John, you said before that you wanted to refer to that point. Are you going to train again, be a personal trainer in the future?
Yeah. So my parent company, so the company that has invested into my dream business, Fight Federation, WCFN, is an AI personal trainer. So what they are developing is an AI mirror that will go into your home, and in that mirror, you'll be able to interact with a personal trainer just like you are when you go see a personal trainer. So, say, for example, you want to learn yoga. You would go to the mirror, you'd press yoga, and it would be like, hi, welcome, James. You're on, level 6, session 30. Are you ready? Let's relax. And this AI is interacting with you, and you're following the movements just like a one-on-one.
So this is with a mirror, and this is something you are helping with, right?
Yeah. So my IP, my content, me, John Graham, is in that mirror. So this is a dream for every personal trainer. A personal trainer. The reason you're a personal trainer, you're born to be a personal trainer. You don't
become one.
Yeah. You're what you want to do is impact people. So the ultimate expression of a personal trainer is if you're able to impact more people. So if I'm able to go into this AI mirror, and this mirror is sold all over the world, all homes all over the world, in all different countries, I'll be able to train millions.
So it's like a podcast, but for training.
Yeah.
But it's all set, right? So, I mean, before you say that the personal trainer is really like a coach, it's not about the muscles or knowing the drills. It's about how to motivate people differently.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do it through a mirror?
That's right. I mean, I have to put as much of my passion and enthusiasm through the mirror, like into the camera, which then goes in.
You can choose setting. I'm a lazy ass.
Yes.
Oh, so I need someone to
Hardcore.
yell at me.
Yeah,
Yes.
So yeah.
You record different.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we're looking to do is have voice commands, right? And you can have voice commands like, so it'd be like, you can do this, you're great, or I can maybe say something
going.
harder, like, why are you stopping? Stop being lazy, get off your ass. Like I can have voice.
So you
in
do
the
that.
mirror.
You record those things.
And not only that, they're going. I'm going to be a call away, so you'll be able to schedule a call with me wherever I am in the world, and I could even FaceTime.
Really?
So you can connect based on your subscription package. Like say every month you pay like $2, right?
Yeah.
And you get access to all my programs as they're updated.
So you're going to be cloned?
Yeah. So
if it goes well.
Yeah. So can you imagine you pay like an extra $1 and you can have like 4 calls with me in a month, and you schedule, okay, I want Friday morning, 8:00, give me like a 10-minute boost. Or maybe they'll be like, oh, my shoulder hurts, so tell me what I should be doing. And I can, okay, it's good job. Like, don't do these programs, do these ones. I want you to stay away from that one. I can actually.
You said before, ask the hard questions.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Is there anything negative for this kind of way of training?
Oh, you mean training at home with AI?
With AI?
Yeah.
Well, the only negative thing would be based on the technology itself, whether or not it has the ability to keep you safe. Right in your own home,
Right.
If you're doing some stretch, like say, oh, don't go too hard, like don't hurt yourself, or don't use weight that's too heavy. So the AI, the negative side is if the AI isn't advanced enough for some situations where you may injure yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But given the world situation right now, I personally believe, after opening 6 gyms in total and being in the fitness room my entire life, I believe that we are entering a whole revolution of home workout. I believe the home is going to be.
Is it going to affect physical gyms?
I believe so.
Well, I first heard about this kind of training with when I was training for Ironman. There's something called Swift. I don't know. So it's like an online platform where you ride your bike on a computer trainer,
I know this
and
one,
then
yeah.
you race other people, and now we have Peloton.
Peloton.
So I think that you're right. This is the direction that personal training is moving forward. But I wanted to ask you a question in terms of equipment. Is this going to be tied to a certain brand of equipment? Are you guys going to sell your own equipment, like do barbells with this or do dumbbells with this, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing about the technology that my parent company has, it's the most superior technology out of all the other mirror brands that are in the world. And obviously, being in Shenzhen, where they have access to the best engineers, best technology. So the technology is the top selling points. But the furthest the technology has gone to when it comes to an AI personal trainer is only dumbbells.
Okay.
So you can see those interchangeable dumbbells I have down there.
Yeah.
That's probably where we'll go. We'll probably have one of those that you'll purchase with the mirror. Maybe that, maybe an exercise mat. But the whole thing with that I think should be the future is minimal equipment, highly effective, highly time efficient, and no trackers. No track. If you're buying a mirror, you shouldn't have to, I forgot this. So I got to tune this and that. It should be just like a personal trainer. Hey, how's it going? And boom, straight away. Pick up your dumbbells. That's it.
No heart rate, no.
Yeah, I believe if I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but I think even the mirror in the future will be able to test your heart rate.
Oh.
It'll be able to see. AI technology is no joke.
How much is that kind of product going to cost?
I think it's on launch. It'll be about 7,000 RMB for the mirror.
Really?
I think.
And then you pay membership.
Then you pay subscription.
classes?
Yeah, $1, $2, $5, maybe that's it. Yeah.
Oh,
And you
this
get
is interesting.
And that's basically you download the package, or is it streamed?
It's streamed. Yeah, so it'll be connected, and you'll have the option. Do you want to upgrade your, Latin dance? We're on. Level 6 has now been launched. Do you want to upgrade? And I'll be like, okay, no, I haven't done Latin in a while. Boom. Or maybe you're like, I don't want Latin dance. I only want to do yoga. I just want all of the yoga programs. So I just want to subscribe to every yoga, master that is in this mirror, right? Who knows? It depends on what. But that's the ideal mirror. Is the mirror that has everything.
It sounds like, AI. We all know AI can get creepy.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, what this means for global domination, like Terminator, and I like that's another whole conversation.
I mean, yeah.
That
I mean,
is-
anything kind of crazy you can teach through the mirror. I mean,
yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, I've got cardio boxing, I've got like basic weight training in a boxing sort of format. My thing is boxing because WCFN. So sort of what WCFN is, it's like me, it's my content in the mirror. So the bigger WCFN is, the bigger, therefore, I will be in the mirror, and the more likely people will buy my subscription.
So let's talk about that WCFN, right?
That's white collar.
You got this here, or these are the from the fight.
Yeah, that's wasting.
Right? All right, so the white collar fight night, right? This is, I think, how I got to know you a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
White collar fight night. What is that?
White collar fight night is my white collar boxing federation. It's a ranking system and a federation model that I built just for white collar boxers
in China.
In China, yeah.
Right.
We're only in China.
So I mean, I've never heard about it before. I've heard about this, like about the concept. Mm-hmm. Some people don't know what's this concept. So it's white collar people, officers. And they train and then fight during a Thai night, a suit. You know,
yeah, black tie night.
Black tie night.
Yeah, I can give you a little background.
Yeah, give me some background.
If we got time.
What?
Yeah. So white collar boxing originally started about 20, 25 years ago in New York. And what happened is back then, maybe even earlier than that, you had boxing gyms. So, you know, you can imagine these gyms where there's a guy like, I'm the trainer. What do you want to do? Hit the bag. This is what, you know, you can imagine New York, you know, you got these gyms that maybe are perhaps more money washing kind of businesses, right? Do people actually go in there and buy memberships to get fit? No, it was a place where you develop pros. You wouldn't be boxing unless you were pro. This is before boxer size or, you know, like punch it and get fit, ladies. This is way before. There was getting fit, there was aerobics, there was Jane Fonda, and then there was boxing clubs. And it was like boxing. Why are you boxing? You must want to fight. You must want to go pro. That was it. But then boxing gyms, you know, they want to go legit. So they needed customers to come in. But why would they come in? Why would you? The association of fitness and boxing wasn't something that was...
It's only for competition,
Yeah, it was only for fighting, right? So they came up with an idea, and it being in New York, they said, why don't we get some of these white collars to fight? We train them for 3 months. They fight, and they fight for charity. And there's money to be made on the event side. The charity makes money. And the biggest thing was the gyms got the memberships.
The 3 months.
They created white collars, like to create a revenue stream with this community.
Right.
So that's where it started in New York. And then it quickly spread around, and it kind of became a common thing. It's massive in the US, but it's huge in the UK. Right. I heard like in the UK, every weekend there's at least 6 events on. Like nonstop.
When did you start this?
So this came together when this is a long story how it started. But the parent company, I was with the parent. I've been with the parent company for about 8 years.
The parent company is the AI.
The AI mirror.
What's the name?
Fire Now.
Fire Now.
Fire Now. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been with them for a long time, and the first project we did together was actually first fitness video. I first did my own fitness video. Imagine, T25. Yeah, or Jane Fonda. Or like, maybe not Jane Fonda.
What is
think
it,
of like,
Simmons, that guy?
or P90X, like P90X. like, yeah, Tony Horton. I had my own little P90X thing, right? That was the first project I did. The second one was we wanted to build sort of an offline to Fire Now's online. So I said, I'll build the gym, and then you like Fire Now will have its online presence as well, which is like, which was developing into this AI mirror, right? But then that gym, you know, common story in Shenzhen, we had our eviction notice. And then but before we got our eviction notice, we had already done 2 events of these white collar, because I just thought, what, lots of people are asking me to do a white collar boxing event. And I asked the 2 investors, I was like, what do you guys want to fight? And they were like, yeah, let's try. And so I trained them to fight. They fought. We all had a good time. We said, you know what, let's do this again. But we still had the gym business, right? So we did it again. And then we got our eviction notice, and we said, you know what, why don't we just do the fight night? It's easy to scale. We can do events everywhere. And then what we'll do is for the training part, we just connect with all the other boxing gyms in Shenzhen. Get them to train the fighters, the white collars. We just focus on the event, the platform. So that's how
the main reason is marketing.
Yeah, I mean, and
For Fire Now.
marketing for Fire Now, it markets the other gyms. It's a very light platform. It's very light. There's not much cost other than, of course, the event itself. But
You charge for the event, so it's
yeah.
okay.
So yeah, because there is actually two kinds of events. There's the gym events, and then there's the like hotel events. So the hotel events, yes, those are very expensive. They cost a lot.
How much does it cost to go to one of these?
Well, for us to make it, it's maybe 250 to 350,000 renminbi for us to do it. And to be honest with you, out of all the events we've done, one event we did, I think we made 5,000 renminbi, which obviously doesn't even cover the office or like.
Yeah.
And then one other event we did broke even, like on par. Every other event we've lost money. This is the hotel event, so it's just a marketing cost, right?
So who pays for that?
The parent company.
The parent company. So actually, this here we're sitting in the
ring.
The
CFN. Yeah.
WCFN headquartered in the ring, and the big office here is the parent company, Fire Now, right? And so they're doing it because they're thinking about the infinite game.
That's right.
I guess.
Exactly.
Right, and you're doing it because
I enjoy it.
I mean, it's your passion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done how many events until now?
So there's two events. We've got two kinds of events. We've got the ones in the gym, which basically zero cost. We just go to the gym, we do the event, we get their network, we get their fighters, we start to build our database.
So this is a small thing.
It's very small, maybe 100 people.
No food.
Less, 60 to 100 people.
No food. No dinner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it takes 3 hours and then it's done. Then we do the big hotel one, which is the full gala. There's wine.
Yeah, I can read. There's a strict dress code, bow tie, evening gown.
All of this, yeah.
Right.
So in total, we've done 31 events. 31. Probably.
Oh, that's a lot.
Seven or eight, I think, have been hotel ones. The rest are all the gym.
Right.
And who ranks these fighters? I mean, how do you know who you're gonna fight? I mean.
Yeah, so we have an assessment system where they do we have a list of coaches that we use to spar. They do a 1 to 2 minute sparring session with each person that fights at 80% intensity. 80% intensity on the participant side, not on the coach's side, to assess their level. Once we have all their levels, then we start the matchmaking. And the matchmaking, to be honest with you, I don't do the matchmaking. I outsource this because I don't want to. I encourage the matchmaking. I kind of have an idea. I say he would be good with him, but that match needs to be qualified by a boxing professional, either from like the China Boxing Association, which we have the contacts there, or from some of the coaches that I know. So I don't matchmake everyone and am in full control. And even on the event itself, we hire a judging and ref team to come in. So whatever they
these
say,
are part of the expenses, right?
Yeah.
So everything is very professional.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
And which kind of people fight actually?
White
collar, but
white collar. One of the best personalities that we've had is a guy called Mei Chun Lei. This guy is 50 years old. 50 years old. He has 3 kids. He owns his own company. He's the CEO of his own company, and he's a government senator in Yantian.
And he fights.
He's fought 5 times and won 5 times.
So you had to. He knew how to fight already in advance, or
he's just an enthusiast. He's just like he just fights. Like the first time he's fought is with us, but he's just trains. He's like, I love doing this.
So
boxing.
he keeps going after he started.
Hard questions.
Yeah.
What kind of liability release do you guys sign with these people? I mean, what if they get hurt? What if? I mean,
there's 2 documents they have to sign. One is obviously a waiver, and then the other one is like a medical release that they have to sign. And then every single event, we have 2 doctors there.
Okay.
And then not only that, but the ref. Okay, so first and foremost, white collar boxing has a specific rule system that's different to amateur boxing.
What are some of those rules?
So the rule is we have you can't have more than 3 TKOs in one round, no more than 4 in one bout.
Okay.
And it's not 3 minutes, it's 2 minutes. Those are the most important rules. So let's say, for example, if I hit you, bam, you don't defend yourself, you get rocked. And then I hit you again, you you get rocked. That third one, the ref will step in and he'll give you a count.
Uh-huh.
In amateur boxing, I think your knee has to go to the ground
Mm-hmm.
before the ref will step in. So the amount of damage that you can take before you get a count is very little. It's based, and a lot of people get upset about this. They say, "Oh no, I was okay. Why did you stop the fight?" But it's just the way it is. We're just like, we'd rather it be overly safe than have that.
You guys wear helmets?
Full helmet, yeah, helmet, 16-ounce gloves.
How many rounds?
3 2-minute rounds. So that TKO, so that's a TKO. If he steps in, that's a TKO.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, if he stops the fight, he's won by technical knockout, right?
Okay.
That process is not allowed to happen more than 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So if he says, okay, you okay? Okay, fight again, and I do it again, then the second time he'll stop the fight.
Okay.
So so for amateur and pro boxing, it's way you can go much further. You can take the person right to the edge, right?
Yeah.
So the ref is overly safe. So we got the doctors, we've got the gear, we've got an overly protective ref, we got the good rules. So far I think we've only had 1 knockout in
Hit the ground.
yeah, 1 knockout. Only 1.
That was a fun moment, I'm sure.
Yeah. Lots of TKOs, right? So because you're just like, sorry guys.
So,
It's like,
so is it more Chinese people or foreigners?
we've when we first started, it was all all foreigners, all expats. Now it's the other way around.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, I can't get any expats to join.
Really? Why?
they're just like, it's me against all these, like, because they're usually the only expat, right? So it's kind of like, it's not
Me against the world.
me against the world.
But I noticed a couple of years ago, there were
yeah,
some
it was
events.
all expats.
All
like,
expats.
we were struggling to get Chinese, and now it's the other way around.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny.
I
Yeah.
seen from your office, because you took us into your office and we saw a lot of UFC stuff.
UFC.
What is your connection to UFC? What kind of work have you done with them? Because that's a pretty big organization.
Yeah, that was a really epic experience that I had. It was so long time ago. I connected with Endeavor or IMG. It's the parent company of UFC. So they bought UFC, and I wanted to work for UFC.
Mhm.
That was my goal. I was like, I really want to work for. I don't think I belong in any other place other than UFC. I want to work for UFC China. So I met all the people in charge, and they were like, sorry, John, there's nothing opening up. We're still like new to China. This is before they opened up their big facility up in Shanghai.
Uh-huh.
So, and now they did an event in Shanghai, event in Beijing, event in Shenzhen. They've only done 3 events. So this was before all that. So I just maintained connection with them. I'm still talking to them. And then when Shanghai did that first event, I went up there, of course. I was like, yeah, and then it was like a diehard fan, right? Then when Beijing happened, I went up there as well. And then when they want to do Shenzhen, they contacted me.
Oh.
And they said, John, we're doing an event in Shenzhen. Can you be our local promoter? I was like, this, and they're like, yeah, you're going to need to sign a contract and everything. I was like, yeah, let's do this. This is too good.
This is what I've been waiting
this is
for.
so good. So yeah, I met all the important people, and basically my job was just to promote it. It was pretty easy. I set up some of the events leading up to the UFC. I helped set them up, and one big crowning moment for me was I was the announcer at the open workout.
Ladies,
Yeah, no, not Bruce Buffer,
No?
not the
in the
Bruce
red
Buffer.
corner.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Chinese UFC fighters? I mean, anybody who stands out?
Zhang
I
Wei
mean,
Li is she's
that
top dog.
fight,
Yeah, she's amazing.
she morphed her.
She's brilliant. Yeah,
She doesn't know what we're talking about.
Zhang Wei Li is real.
I
deal.
watch some. I don't watch a lot.
She turned this woman into an
Yeah,
extraterrestrial. Her face was swollen
Yeah.
this big. That was unbelievable.
That was the last fight before the quarantine.
You think the UFC will be big in here?
UFC, I think, is going to be the most dominant entertainment company
It's
on the
one of the fastest growing entertainment.
I think it is. We haven't even scratched the surface as to how big it'll be.
And
I think it's going to be massive. Yeah.
when did it start? UFC.
Oh, wow. UFC, that's what's been
10?
20, no, it's 27 years.
So it's a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, you're saying it's growing fast now,
Extremely fast.
right? What?
They haven't
So
they barely touched China.
you say your dream?
And now they have Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah.
Your dream is to work with UFC.
Yeah, I mean, the way back then when I was applying for a job there, I was just like all of me, everything that I have, my entire history, I'm going into UFC.
Doing what? What would you like to do there?
Probably most like a promoter, helping them grow, like
Okay.
helping them promote. But now that I kind of have my own federation and I've got my own thing going, I'm very much interested in promotional partnerships with UFC, especially
Right.
for their China agenda.
Why do you think? I mean, okay, Fernando, you recently you really
I've gotten into UFC,
UFC, and obviously you're into UFC. I'm not so much. Why people like watching fighting?
I keep clenching. I keep like.
Why people like it? I mean, I can understand it more than like Formula One. I don't understand it at all. I mean, okay.
No,
go on.
that's NASCAR.
Yeah. Well, cars just, unless there is an accident, then it's interesting. Or,
Yeah.
but I mean, no, it's not that I don't understand it, but why is it the fastest growing entertainment company? Why is it so entertaining?
I think there's two things. There's in every human, there's an animalistic side, something that's primal inside of us when we had to fight to live, to fight off some lion, was trying to, we had to fight to eat, right? So there's that side, but then also with MMA in particular, MMA, in my opinion, is the highest expression of sports performance.
It's a combination. It's
of
very
different
interesting
martial
to
arts,
see
right.
a jiu-jitsu master
Sure.
going into
Yeah.
against a wrestler or a
Exactly.
striker
Yeah.
or a grappler. It's just that makes it so interesting because you see like two different strategies or techniques in play and see who's coming out on top.
Right. So
Yeah.
there is, it's
So
interesting.
imagine having a chess game where all the pieces are two, and then they fight for five minutes round, five minute round.
Because it's all different styles.
Right. So, but what do you think about the example this gives? Is this a bad thing for if you think about kids? Or do you think
I think it's phenomenal. It teaches fighting spirit, overcoming, sportsmanship, respect. All of the greatest fighters in UFC right now are like maybe Conor McGregor. I don't want to put him into this group, but they're very respectful. Well, at least they should be. They're encouraged to be. And if they're not, people say, hey, that they don't. They speak
so the
ill of
UFC
them.
organization?
They're based on
making sure.
very, very like bowing, saying thank you,
touching gloves and.
There is a strong culture in martial arts and in MMA about being respectful. It's such a it's not just all loose and like, oh yeah, let's just give the finger and it's not a blood sport. It's not like WWE where it's all just it's just a mess.
That's the big thing. I mean, when I first heard about UFC, I thought like, oh, WWE, that's just a show. But when you see these people go at it like for real, like, oh, this is nothing like WWE.
Professional.
These people are going at it.
And their ranking puts their level at such a position that the person that they're fighting against, it's not like they're like, oh, that guy's gonna win easy. It's always like, who knows?
You don't know who's gonna win.
They're so well matched.
So this MMA, right? So MMA is this combination of martial arts. What is it? Jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and
All kinds.
all kinds. And so people keep coming into the UFC from different directions. But I guess it makes fighters actually master several arts.
That's right.
That's what it's happening,
Yeah.
I guess.
That's right.
And what you were saying about when you were asking the question defense or attack, right? You need to learn how to defend against different martial arts as well, not just attacking the butt. How do you defend against a grappler? How do you defend against a striker or a kicker? You know what I mean?
How does a boxer do MMA?
In MMA, that's very bad.
Very
To
bad.
be honest, he doesn't do
Take it
it.
to the ground and
Like the days
You're
of
done.
boxers dominating UFC were done. Like
I've heard,
long
I
time
think I listened to Joe Rogan or something like a few years ago. Yeah, they were talking about how it's basically killed boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boxing has more money. Boxing has
Still.
more money and still has more eyeballs. But the thing about boxing is it's not a federation business. It's based on individuals. So we're riding these guys, these superstars. But if they get sick then it's over. Like who? Whereas UFC is a company. It's a federation. It's like a machine that builds. Where it's like, okay, all the top boxers, they have their span, but when they're gone, who's the next? We're relying on stars. We're not relying on a growing.
Did you ever fight? Did you ever have aspiration at any point in your life to become a fighter?
Yeah. When I was doing amateur boxing in Shanghai, I wanted nothing more than to box. I was like, that's it. That's my thing. I will box. And I was just looking for fights. And that was during the time when I was with the parent company and we had this gym. And I was like, you know what? That was another motivation to start WCFN is I just wanted to fight in my own event. But then the actually doing the event became more interesting than the fight part. So I went to promoter rather than fight.
How many times you did fight in
Three.
your event?
3 times.
Hey,
No, that was in Shanghai. That wasn't in
In your events?
Never did in WCFN. Never fought.
Wow.
WCFN.
What about White Collar Fight Night? Are there any female fighters?
Yes. Oh, and yeah. Like our female fighter roster is actually really good. The lady that you see on the photo right there, kneeling down with her arms up, and she has a black dress. She's sitting right.
Yeah.
That lady, Michelle Yu, her family owned 2 large hospitals. She's now living in the U.S. She's immigrated to the U.S. But she when she fought, she was like she had a phenomenal fight. I think it was a first round TKO. But again, never fought before. First time fought, but just so well trained. Her head was so well, so focused. All her training, everything, she just applied it to the ring, and she did really well. Like that's just one of the many ladies that from a white collar background that have fought and have done really, really well.
So you said that the WCFN is charity.
Yeah.
So, which charity are you working with?
So the charity, the way the charity works is the charity part of it is a component that we add to the event. But probably I'll have to tell you next time after the cut.
All right, guys, welcome back. So we're going to start our next game, John. This game is called What's Up With This? So the idea is we went through your social media, sorry, and we picked up a couple of things. So we want to ask you what's up with this picture and to give us some context on what we see there. So, Zip?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll show you a picture or a video.
Okay.
And I'll surprise you. Nothing naked, don't worry.
All right.
And no ex-girlfriends. I hope so.
Oh, what's happening there?
So
who's there?
Okay, so that's me and my lovely girlfriend. We are in Dame Shah Sheraton.
Okay.
And it was National Day. It was China's National Day. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm just seeing, Jiao Zhonghua, all these posts, right? And she's a big influencer in China. And a lot of our accounts are together. So I was like, we kind of have to do a post, something like it's if a lot of people, they know you kind of, it's a key time to make a statement, to make a positive statement. So yeah.
China, I need.
And how did that affect your social media since she's an influencer?
Yeah, they loved it, right? Chinese like that. They like that respect, right? You've been in China a long time. Like I said before, my relationship with China is one of respect. I see respect is the emotion that is always stable.
Right.
Sometimes China is good, sometimes it's bad, but I always have this, respect.
I feel very similar.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's go on to the next thing.
Next one is a video.
What's this? I'm doing boxing.
Yeah. What is this? Is it recording? They're recording here?
Yeah. Okay, so this is I'm doing. What am I doing? Okay, so this is after I've done my boxing program for the AI Mirror. So after I shot the content for that program, they wanted some photos. I believe that there was an expo shortly after that photo and video shoot. There was like an expo that they wanted some photos for. So because for the booth, there should be some cool images, right? I think that's
so
why
they're recording you.
photos.
Do you have a special suit on there, or is like?
No, I think that was just me covering up my tattoos.
Ah,
yeah. Because for social media, China, you gotta have. You can't have too many tattoos.
So long sleeves.
Oh, I always have. I always have. It's like you buy sleeves.
Yeah.
And I believe that the primary purpose for them is
compression.
For Chinese. Oh yeah, compression. But I always thought they were like for not to get sunburned. Like you see people wearing them at the beach. But they don't want to have to wear a full shirt. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of those that I always keep with me in case there's some video and I have to quickly put my tattoos.
All right, and this was What's Up With This?
We're going to continue with our broadcast, with our show, and we are going to start talking about, one of the reasons why we came all the way down to Shenzhen to shoot with you, John.
That's right, the juicy stuff, yes.
The case.
The juicy stuff.
The fact that you're stuck in China, you can't go out. So why don't you take us through what happened and why you're where you are
Why are you
right
stuck
now.
in China? And what does it mean to be
Yeah.
stuck in China?
So stuck in China, I am on a blacklist. So my name is on a blacklist in China, which means that I can't cross the border. And the reason I can't is because I have a court case that I need to figure out. I need to finish the court case. I need to have
Settle
this
that.
settled, before my name is taken off this list and I can travel in.
And the court, okay, so you're stuck in China, you cannot leave, you're on a blacklist. Usually, people I know that are on a blacklist with China can't come in.
Can't come in. I know. For me, it's the other way around.
And you can live, right? And it's been like this for how long now?
I think we're coming up to about 2 years, maybe more. 2 years, yeah.
2 years already
Let's
stuck
say
in here.
2 years.
And it's related to one of your gyms, right? You said you were involved with like 6 gyms, but this is related to one. Maybe you can give us a background.
Yeah, so I opened.
What is this case?
My first gym was Fusion. Then Fusion moved. I opened up a business called Fresh. 3 partners, two other expats in Futian and Shenzhen here. And this particular gym is the one that has given me the most trouble, as I'm still dealing with it now. The other gyms are okay. They were just the business model of the gym. This is something we didn't mention before when we were talking about gym, and even myself as a personal trainer, when I was a personal trainer, when you are training with someone, that person pays for your time, but you have to make that commitment to them. So you buy a lot of debt.
Yeah.
You're getting cash, but you owe that person.
I'm in exactly the same situation with my English training center, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. So the more money you get, the more you owe.
Right.
So it can never end. You'll always be operating in
That's
this,
another
right?
stuck.
Yeah. So the other gyms and then usually the gym business, if you don't really build a strong brand with some kind of a technology that can collect all the data of the memberships and all of this, which can be, of course, like data is a business itself. You can sell this. This has value, right? But if you don't have that and you don't really have a brand, all you've got is a lot of debt, right? That's all the value of the business is you've got a lot of people that you owe hours of classes to. So the best way to get out of a gym business, if like for myself, when I opened up these gyms, I wasn't so knowledgeable. I was very young, and I was governed a lot by my passions of fitness. I wasn't very strategic in business. I didn't have a lot of business mentors. It was more fitness mentors, and fitness mentors are just like, do it, just go, just figure it out on the way. So this got me into a lot of trouble with opening up gym businesses, and I've learned a lot since then, which has been very helpful in what I'm doing now and what I'll do in the future. But yeah, it's I basically want to transition out of a business.
So there was one of these gyms. The name was
Fresh. So this is Fresh, yeah.
And then you were it wasn't doing well because of different reasons.
Couldn't cover our costs.
Right.
Shenzhen, the rent's really high. Like I was saying earlier, rent is usually what kills a gym
Most
business.
gyms.
That's the largest overhead.
That's just what you got to deal with. So we just couldn't cover our costs, and we were just
So you wanted to
in way over our head, and we're just like, we got to get out of this. We got to get out of this. So it became like the strategy was to transition it off, to get someone to take responsibility.
basically it's like selling it.
Selling implies this is something else. Like a lot of people that have asked me about this and done a full expose on this whole story, they always say certain things which I shy away from because it isn't technically true. Selling it implies that there was a transaction where I got money for this thing, but the strategy wasn't that. The strategy was this thing. You need to take this. Like when that for me that was the win. If you take this the responsibility of this. For me, that was what I wanted.
You don't need to pay me any money.
But yeah, you just take full responsibility of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't have to pay me, but it's all yours.
Is that a legal form that exists in China or in the West?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Just simple transitioning businesses over.
It's just selling terms, I guess.
Yeah. Like
Right?
maybe if an investor, he wants he's like maybe he has a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got new aspirations. He doesn't. But the business is growing. There's nothing to monetize yet. So he doesn't want to destroy it. He just wants someone to take over his part of it, right? Or he'll have to have this responsibility and deal with his current life situation. He'll have to address it. So a lot of them, they don't want to address it. They just please take it and then it's yours.
So you were looking for a person to do that.
Yeah.
And you found one.
After a lot of searching, I mean, we talked to so many different people. We thought of so many different ways to package it, to put it with this and try it, sell it to this company. That didn't work. Or try to do this and have it, broken off into this. Now that didn't work. And then finally we're like, okay, whatever we can get, let's whoever we can get. And a guy that was in the gym that I knew, who I actually brought into this, he seemed like our best option. And again, just to take responsibility for it, not to actually take the gym. So yeah.
All right. So this guy was just a member.
No, this guy I met while I was boxing up in Shanghai, and he was enthusiastic about opening up his own gym. How and where he got his financing, I believe it was just because he had a rich family, but he wasn't very knowledgeable about how to run business, or he wasn't a let's like in the gym business. If you're opening up a gym, what is the reason for doing it, right? Is it just to be cool, or do you actually want to open up a facility to change people's lives? And there's a very big difference when it comes to this kind of a business, because this kind of business it's kind of a passion-based business, right? So he didn't quite have that. It was more about him being a Laoban rather than actually being someone that would influence people's lives for the better, right?
Okay, so for clarity, there was no exchange of money. He didn't give any money.
No.
I had a similar situation. So I had a legal representative, and that person did not want to be the legal representative anymore. So somebody else became the legal representative. That's basically what took place here.
Yeah. I was the far end.
Okay.
I was a legal rep. The other two partners had kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the worry was, like, in a gym business, say someone, drops a dumbbell on their toe, maybe they were scared that they would be the one at fault, and like, oh, John, I have a family, I've got kids, so I took that responsibility as to become the fire, and I didn't have kids.
So you transferred the gym.
So yeah.
I mean, you drafted a contract, I guess.
Yeah. So the
you
gym
negotiated.
Was transferred. Yeah. Long story short.
You negotiated, and
gym was his. We were out.
So what was the main? What's the contract? What did the contract say? What was the main?
The multiple different contracts, but actually, to be honest with you, the contracts weren't the issue.
Okay.
The contracts. There's no real. Nothing. I mean, the contracts don't really have an issue in a sense that I signed something wrong. Everything was clear, cut, and dry. But when he decided to sue me, it wasn't for any reason. Like he manipulated the law and the system in China to scam me.
Okay, so
it wasn't like he didn't. Let's say this: he didn't tell the full story. So he submitted a case without the full story.
Right. So maybe we jump ahead and then we go back. Right. So like, you transfer the gym, and you walked away.
Few years go by.
You walked away. After 3 years, 4 years, I don't know. One day you're trying to fly to the Philippines. You're trying to go on holiday. And you told me this before, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? How did you discover that you have a problem? What was the moment?
Yeah. So so I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave to go to the Philippines because one of my friends in Australia is having his birthday there.
Okay.
So flight is booked, hotel, everything. I am leaving in Shenzhen. And I go to immigration, put my passport up, and you see the guy on the computer, and he's like, some noise, like a little beep noise, and he's like, huh? And then I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, just wait. And he's like, he's trying to figure this out. And then he's like, and he calls his superior over, and superior is like looking at it, like, what is it? What is this? And he's like, oh. And then it seems to like somewhat click for the guy in charge. But he's like, I don't fully know it. So he calls a guy, the security, to come get me. Security have like their GoPros on, and they're like, come with us. And the security are just like,
are they nice at that point?
No. The security are like
serious.
They don't know if I'm
they wanted for murder.
Yeah, I could be wanted for murder. I could be transporting illegal contraband.
Come with us.
They're just like on their chair waiting.
And you're a
like,
big guy, and you're like,
they're like, it's been 3 weeks.
Bring your biggest
used.
guy.
We need you. So they're like, move, go, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, what are you talking?
And
like,
you're not alone.
Yeah, I'm with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so we go into this holding area, and I'm like yelling at her, like, honey, find out what's going on. And
I'll find you
Yeah.
one day.
what's going on? And then they're like, shush, don't talk, don't move, don't touch anything, sit down. And so where I'm sitting from, I look and I see through the glass, this little area in the glass that I can see through, I can see the computer where all of them are trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm looking at them, and they're just all crowding around the computer trying to figure it out, right? And then the security guard's just filming me with a GoPro, right? And just saying, don't talk, don't do. So I'm just sort of sitting there waiting. And it gets to the point where I'm waiting at the point where, I'm no longer tense. I'm kind of like
Slouching.
yeah, like like if nothing's happened by now, I think they've made the mistake.
So
Like,
that's what you thought.
Yeah,
There is a mistake here.
I was like, and I'm kind of like, if this is your mistake, come on, guys. I think I've missed my flight, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then finally I see the guy get up. So I'm like, okay, he's coming, and he has a piece of paper. So he's like, come. So we come in, and then he like asked my girl, he's like, translate. And I was like, it's okay, you don't have to translate. Like, I just go ahead, say it. And he says a statement out in Chinese, and I didn't understand any of it, but I heard the word Qianhai. Qianhai is an area in Shenzhen where like it's a free trade zone where any foreigner can open up a company without a Chinese partner. It's like a foreign investment enterprise, right? And I know this area is very special for like Shenzhen's economy. It's like it's something that's special. It's special about Shenzhen.
Special hub.
Yeah, special hub for all of for all of China. And I know in that particular area there's a court. I know there's a court. Now, why do I know that there's a court in there? I know I did remember at that time. I was like, Qianhai court.
Mm-hmm.
It clicked in my head. I was focused. I got this, and then they would like just go on, and I was and we were going back into China. He said, oh yeah, you can't leave because you've got a case. So from that point, I knew it was something to do with this court, a case, court. Right?
So you can leave, but you just go back into China.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling you.
They're
Go
just
back
like
into
turn
China.
around, go back. Just
No,
get away.
no prison, no arrest, no nothing.
No.
You can't leave China.
Yeah, the statement basically read, due to an active case that you have, or due to some verdict in a case, before you're allowed to cross borders with China, you have to address results.
And they gave you some paper, I guess.
Yeah, they gave me that paper with the number of the court. They were like, yeah, call this number. They'll tell you the more details.
And okay, so
What was your next move?
Yeah. So it took me quite a while to figure out exactly what was going on, like what happened, the situation I'm in. It took me a while to establish that situation. Like I was saying before, it's like a case. It's like CSI. You go to the crime scene and you have to first figure out what are all the mismeanings. Why is the glass smashed? Why is the vase been knocked over? Why is there a puddle of water there? It took me a long time to figure out every single aspect of this case. Like, as a foreigner, what involvement does my embassy have? What does the consulate have? As a foreigner, as an expat, is this a mistake, or what process is it at? What rights do I have? If I got to get a lawyer, which lawyer? Which court supersedes?
How did you do that?
Court?
I mean, you needed a lot of help, I guess.
Took a lot of time,
Friends.
a lot of help, a lot of phone calls. Yeah, a lot of phone calls, a lot of calls to lawyers to help, and then they would call and they would ask questions,
So
find that out.
it already started costing you money right there when you left the airport.
No. I mean, well, yeah, I lost my flight.
Sure, yeah.
And hotel booking.
Yeah.
A hotel flight. But so yeah, the whole process of figuring it out, it didn't cost me anything, because what happens is when it costs is when you secure a lawyer. You sign a contract with a lawyer, and in that contract, the lawyer will never tell you he's promising you an outcome. He just promises to represent you.
But first, so you mean you talk to lawyers, you talk to aides during these months trying to figure it out. That doesn't cost you money, right? People help you.
People will help you.
Help.
Yeah, and most lawyers, if they are good, if they are influential in the community, I can recommend a lawyer anywhere in China for any kind of case. My lawyer database is crazy.
Right.
I know every lawyer.
Now.
Yeah,
but
now
imagine a foreigner that's been here maybe 1 year, doesn't have a good ring of
Good connections.
friends, connections, and he doesn't know what to do. But I mean, that would be harder, obviously. But like you said, you can find lawyers and they will talk to you. They will give you advice without any financial need first.
Yeah, that's right. You basically, I was basically asking what's the situation, what's happening, and most lawyers will tell you all the intricacies of this. So as I would ask different lawyers of different friends of like I start to paint a very big picture, and then but then I said, what if I did this? And they'd say, oh, this may happen. Well, what if I did this? Maybe this would happen. And you start to like your first action, you start to build like a ring of outcomes based on that.
Like a
one
certain
outcome.
possible route.
Okay, so before we go to the actions that you had to take, what did you discover?
Yeah, so basically a case was put against me. I ignored it. And the mistake I made was I didn't address the case.
So you ignored it? Did you know about it? I mean, that's what you found out.
A little timeline. So a case was basically filed against you. And then Philippines, the trip to Philippines happened like a few years later.
3 years later.
So in the time between the person filed and you found out at the airport, that's when you missed the...
Yeah, so I should have addressed the case. Now, how would I have addressed the case? Well, I had to have been notified. In China, they'll notify you by a phone call and they'll mail you something. These two ways. They do not come and give you an envelope. That's like you see in that
you have
movie.
to sign.
Yeah.
You have to, they have to see
You've been
you.
served.
Yeah, you've been served.
And then now we understand there is good reason for that.
Yeah. So if I 100% believe that they did try to call me, but I would have picked up and they would have said, "Hey, ni hao," and I would have been like,
Maybe.
Bye-bye.
Right? So that's always been my stance during this whole process. I'm not judging the system or saying the system didn't do anything wrong. Actually what I say is I caution all expats, all foreigners that live in China. Sometimes it's good to answer calls that you don't know the number. And not only that, maybe wait a little bit and try to understand what they're saying.
Right.
If they are selling you something, it's just a sales call, I'm sure you'll figure it out and be like,
it's very true.
No, I don't want to buy
It's
it.
very true. I miss some other things,
Yeah.
not as bad as
Yeah.
this, but I miss some.
Yeah,
things.
sometimes you miss it.
I'll be honest with you. When I first heard about your case, my first thought is like, okay, if the authorities are trying to phone you, trying to contact you, you'll probably go through your lawyer if they can't contact you. But given the timeline that you're presenting here, you have no reason to have a lawyer.
That's right. I did not have a lawyer.
So that's a very important thing to mention here. That, well, yeah.
So they tried. So they tried to call you probably more than once.
Probably more than once.
Yeah, they told you this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know this for sure?
I know. I mean, they didn't say exactly how many times. They said we tried to call you.
We tried calling you. Yeah.
Yeah, because they won't know back then who exactly called and how many times. They'll just say, based on our process, we call you and send you a mail.
So, okay, and what happened to the mail part?
The mail part, I never got the mail, obviously.
Okay.
And
the physical letter.
The physical letter I never got. But when documents were reviewed by my lawyer later on, an address was put on the document that was supposed to be sent to me that was not my address. And it was an address in Lohu.
And do you know
what
about why? Or you don't know until now?
Like when I asked them, I said, why is that address there? My lawyers didn't say, oh, he did that so you wouldn't get the lawyer. They didn't say that, but they sort of just said, interesting. Like as if that happens all the time. Like it doesn't mean that the plaintiff did something wrong. Like if I want to sue you, I can just say, oh, I think he lives over there. And it's like, no, to me, I was like, that should have been where I live should have been sent, or my office. My offices have always been online.
So
easy to find you type in John, you find an address, either this one or my previous.
The timeline again. So about 3 years, right? From the moment you got rid of the gym.
Yeah, about 3 years.
And the moment you were stopped at the airport, and then within about a month, you kind of realized what's happening.
Yeah, a month. I got this full picture of the situation. Then we go to phase 2.
But okay, before that, so what was happening is that you were sued, right, by someone, by the person that
took over.
took over the gym, and they tried to reach you, they couldn't reach you. Then there was a trial, and maybe
You were
a few
absentee
times
and-
you're absent a few times,
That's
and
right.
then there was a verdict against you without you being there.
That's right.
Is that normal in other countries? I don't know.
I actually think
Can
it
that
is.
happen?
I think it is.
Yeah.
To be honest
Okay.
with you, I think it is.
So if you don't show up a few times, whatever, it's your fault.
If you don't show up,
There
they're
will
just
be.
like,
It's not just China. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the issues that I see in this picture is the fact that we foreigners don't buy homes. We rent home. Well, most of us rent homes, and
Yeah.
we change residence
Addresses.
rather often.
Mm.
So, for example, if somebody were looking for me 3 years ago, I lived in a completely different place.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be. I mean, that's one of the challenges that. In trying to think in terms of the government, that's one of the challenges that they of the legal system in China. That's one of the challenges that they have in trying to notify people. I mean, if you move places, how do we find you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So now, okay, you discovered what happened, and so the guy took you to court. What was his claim? Why did he sue you?
I believe his original claim was that, okay, so the gym, right, as we were saying before, the gym is comprised of assets, the equipment, the TV. I mean, look around what you just see right here, right?
Right.
So these assets, this in a sense was the exchange. The brand had no value, like I said, brand has no value, and the database that was debt that he took responsibility for. So what exactly did he get was the assets, the floor, right, all the equipment,
machines.
the machines, all this. So this list, his claim in the case was that list of assets wasn't mine. Wasn't
Okay.
mine.
That didn't belong to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he right?
No, of course not.
So, okay, but that was his claim.
But it's very simple. You understand? It's a very simple thing
Yeah.
to do.
So you mean
So basically,
if-
like you sold something that was not yours.
Yeah.
So if now looking back, if you did pick up
This
the
is-
call, if you did pick up the call and you did show up in court, this was something that
Very
was
easy,
easy to
win.
prove,
Easy to win. Yeah.
very easy to win.
Wouldn't have taken.
So you kind of beat
How
yourself
okay
hard.
in
at that.
China? How do you go about proving that this is yours? I mean, were there
Receipts,
invoices under your name, or
yeah, just show all the receipts.
if you
of
had
the
to prove
gym.
it today, it would be no problem.
Yeah. Because but yeah, this is what the lawyer said. Because I was saying, what exactly is the case? And the case was, that those weren't yours. Those assets didn't belong to you. You still owe.
All right. So we'll continue this right after the break.
Cool. All right, and we're back after this short break to continue talking about, well, your case of being stuck here in China. Well, what I want to know is where is the case right now and what's happening? Because there's one reason why we came down here, because there's something pressing, something that's about to happen. So could you tell us about where the case is right now and what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I've the story of this case, how I addressed it, and all of the things I learned and that I advise people to do right now. It's a very long story, but where I'm at right now, I don't talk about that much. There's lots of other business that I'm doing, lots of other things I'm involved with, and I carry on. I still hustle. I still work, and I'm not gonna, every time I post something on social media, be all doom and gloom. I still, look on the bright side and promote myself as someone that, is as some sort of inspiration.
Yeah, actually, I told you before. I saw a video of you talking about the case and then saying, "I still want to stay in China. I like it here and everything."
Yeah.
How does it?
Yeah. It's not something that has taken so much of my time and energy. Most of my energy and time is converted to things that are building, that are growing me and growing the people around me. But I believe this week I'm going to get a decision that will, if it's not the decision I want, the life goes on, the world keeps spinning. My problems are never going to be as big as someone else's problems. I still have to wake up every morning and do what I can. And but if it is a decision that is in my favor, then I would say half the battle of this entire case is done. It's a massive win for me, for other expats in China, and for, more importantly, the China system, the China legal system, which again, I haven't said is unfair or anything. There is a process. It's a lot of waiting.
So there is
extreme
no,
amount.
there
from
is no,
18 to
you don't feel any bias against you, like you're never going to win this because you're a foreigner.
No, I mean I know a lot of times when expats haven't come out well in this situation, but then again I know a lot of expats have done extremely well in the court system.
Look, the first time I heard about this case was when I watched Winston Serpenta make a video about you, and my first reaction was, I've been in legal cases and I've won. So what they were saying is like, oh, there's no rule of law in China. I'm like, my initial reaction was, that's not true. So how do you feel about people who say stuff like that, like there's no rule of law in China?
It's kind of a bit pessimist, right? It's a bit like it's kind of a
I think if you thought like this, you would be
I don't know how
changing
long,
a passport, changing a name, and running away.
Yeah, it's kind of like true, not just for China or for legal cases, but for anything in life. If you're kind of the person that always wakes up on the dark side of the bed, that's not really helping anybody.
Sure.
And it doesn't mean that everything's going to change. I'm still in this situation. I made the absolute best course of action based on the resources that I had, the options that I had. Like there is no lawyer on this planet or anyone that would have advised me to do something else. I am in this situation. That's it. That's just
you talk to many lawyers.
Yeah,
over
a lot
this.
of lawyers.
So this is like the Philippine moment was like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The trying to go to the Philippines was a couple of years ago, and then you consulted with a lot of lawyers.
Lawyers got my and so I actually the first thing I had to do is I had to get my hands on a very good lawyer that like not only was influential in cases like with expats, but also had a very good understanding, a big broad understanding of the legal system. So to acquire that lawyer, it costs money. Costs money. You have to write in contract. Either you are on a retainer, I pay you this every month, or it's like there's a contract you have to sign.
Yeah.
Nothing happens until you sign that contract. The lawyer is gonna give you as much information over talk. But if you're like, can you do that document for me, or can you make that call? They'll just say no. You have to sign a contract. So I, of course, had to get the money to hire a lawyer and a decent lawyer. So me and my business partner
how much money do you need?
At least $10,000 US.
Okay.
At least. Oh. So at least 10, maybe if not more. But we didn't worry about that. We just said, look, let's run a crowdfunding campaign to secure the amount of money. That way, both of us aren't hurting. We're still continuing like our job and everything. I'm not like telling my partner, hey, you have to pony up this much. I pony up this much. We're both financially we're not stressed. We raise the money, we secure a lawyer, and then from there we go to the next step.
Through crowdfunding.
And we did it, yeah.
Okay.
We raised the money through crowdfunding. Serpent he posted, and a lot of people supported through him. I'm very grateful for his support in that. But it's like a lot. That we secured the money. Then she went to work, and the deal was leave the money in the fund. If the outcome is good, I'll take the money. So the money's sitting there, it's waiting.
So wait. So first of all, you say your partner. So your partners originally from the gym. They, even though their name wasn't there, they acknowledged that they're in this.
One partner did. The other partner just ran off.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a story for another day.
Okay, never mind. So one partner did. It's like this is us together. We work together.
Yeah.
I mean, you are the one blacklisted, but still, I'll support you.
Yeah. He's one of my closest friends I've had in China for the longest time.
And then another thing I want to ask is the lawyer. So you put $10,000, which the lawyer estimated it may cost that, and he doesn't touch it unless he wins.
Yeah.
That's how it works here.
No, it's not how it works.
That's
how she did. That's what she did for me. Because imagine if I just told her straight off the bat. I said, "I'll pay you if you win." She'd say, "No." But I showed her. Look what I did. For the last I studied crowdfunding for 2 months. Because I actually did try it. I actually tried it. It didn't work. Wow. So me and my partner came back and we said we have to learn this. So I learned all of it. Did it again. It worked, and I showed her everything. And I said, look, the money's there. And she said, okay. Like I don't think any lawyer would just do it if you said that. Like, I promise to pay you. You know what I mean? But she's nice, and she's actually the wife of a very good friend of mine.
But usually lawyers would want some money in advance. It's a retainer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you are she has access to that. So if you win, she's gonna take that.
Yeah.
And I guess she's confident.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then you raise the money.
Raise the money.
You use your connection, your media, your friends to spread the word. This is a cause. This is unjust. Even though I missed some phone calls and everything, the original story is unjust. I would have won, right?
Yep.
It's wrong. So that's how you raise the money. And then, so what else you doing during this time?
Lots of waiting. I mean, the lawyer told me after I did the crowdfunding and secured the payment, I acquired her services to help me fix this. She started her work and she said, look, don't do anything else on social media. Just leave it alone. You don't want to draw too many eyes. This could affect you in a negative way. Just be cool. So I chilled out, left. I didn't push after I raised the money, I didn't talk much.
Did you consult with your lawyer about this podcast?
About the podcast? This one, yes.
Yes.
Since then, she said media stuff now is fine. It's beyond that stage.
Okay, so now I go back to your question. Fernando, you started with this question, is like, what's happening now? Because now we gave some more background what happened, right? So you actually, I don't know if we even finished that. Did we, what was the actions she took? Like, so now this week you're waiting for some verdict, right? Something about if the original verdict is overturned?
Retrial. Not the verdict.
Retrial.
Verdict's not yet. Just a retrial.
So for a new retrial.
Just
okay. New
open
trial.
the case back up. Let's do it again.
Okay, so if this is happening, then you just go to court this time.
Yeah. Well, that's even later as well. So first, if there's a retrial, the old verdict's terminated. Then we get a court date. We all go. We present, and then it carries on from that.
And you would need more money even to pay the lawyer, or maybe because this one is kind of special.
Yeah.
You're not sure.
Yeah, I haven't crossed that bridge yet, but I think this lawyer will stay with me. She'll stay with me for the full trial. She
believes
good.
in the case.
Yeah, and I don't like. I'm in a mode because something important that happened. I definitely want to tell everybody about what happened. So, I spent a period of time figuring out what the situation was. Then what I did was I figured out what my action plan is. Part of that action plan was crowdfunding to acquire a lawyer. So did the crowdfunding, acquired the lawyer goes to work. And now there's processes. So you submit a paper, there's a waiting period. Before that paper sees this person, then gets this signature, goes to this floor, goes back down to that floor.
Yeah.
And then finally it goes to the next step. And the same thing again, submit this paper, goes. So it's a lot of waiting. You have to be like court, as everyone knows, anyone who's been in court, it takes a long time. The smallest little smallest little case can take up to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? Even though it's small. Bigger cases can take over 10 years, right? So lots of waiting. And then basically what happened was as I'm fighting to get the case reopened in a more superior court than the one I'm being sued at, the case that I'm being sued at is going through the full process, right?
Right.
So I've been blocked in China. Can't leave China. But then what happens next, right? What's the next step? So the next step is that the enforcement court, the enforcement judge, is then
from the original trial.
Yes.
Yes. Now it goes to enforcement.
So the enforcement is then acquired to then execute the verdict,
Which
right?
getting the money from you.
So getting the money, and this is another whole.
What was the original verdict? How
It's
much?
like 217K, like 270.
270,000.
Yeah. So they came after me. The enforcement came after me.
And then
This is in renminbi.
the 270,000 RMB, $40,000.
But since then it grew much more, over 300K.
The actual what you need to pay back
because of fees and pay,
right.
all
Okay.
of it.
So then the enforcement comes after you. What happens? How do they find you?
This is a classic moment. One that again I'm like this
One
is
of those, of course, China.
One of course, yeah, of course, China.
Moments.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in an event, actually not very far from this office, just straight up
Okay.
north. This office, maybe
Your
10-minute drive.
White qualified night?
Yeah. Just at an event in the gym. Like I said, we had two models. We had the gym event and then we had the bigger event. So I'm in the gym and I'm in my ring. I'm with the microphone.
Is it this ring?
No.
This is a small one.
We only do events in gyms that already have.
Already have it. Okay.
Yeah. So people are gathering around, guys. We're going to do an event. Get ready. We got fighters. Blah blah blah. Right. Then 4 cops come in and 4.
You're the MC.
Yeah, I'm the MC.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
Four cops come and 4 court representatives show up, and they're like, "Are you John Harper?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." that definitely is me. So they dragged me out of the ring. They're like, and then they're like, we're going. And I was like, you need to tell me what's happening. And they're like, okay, find a quiet room and let's talk. So we go to this quiet room. This is in front of everyone. And everyone's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Right? I was like, wow, this is like one of those, you know, any publicity is good publicity kind of movements. I'm just thinking to myself, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's trying to stay positive.
It's good. You know, like, you know, no one's going to think that anything's bad's going on. Like, don't worry. This is, so then, they tell me like, oh, okay, that we're in the enforcement, we're carrying this out, and they were basically like, you're going to jail tonight unless you pay. That's what they said.
Like 300,000 or whatever.
Yeah, the amount based on the fees. Okay,
Yeah.
You have this much interest you need to pay
Yeah.
per month. Blah blah blah. Boom. Yeah, and I was like, you mean right now? I mean, how about we talk about this tomorrow? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I don't even have like my passport with me. What are you talking about? And so it was this conversation lasted a good part or more of 3 hours, to where I was like trying to figure out like what exactly my options were. I was calling friends, like, you know, what's this, what's that. It's definitely a good.
Obviously, you called that lawyer first.
Yeah, but she was like, to be honest, this was something that she didn't know was going to happen. And I've talked to her about this. I was like, how did you not know that was going to happen? But she said, no, I didn't know. I did not know.
So
that.
nothing happened until that moment? Nobody ever tell you,
No.
hey, you need to start paying. Hey, you need this. This was the first time.
First time. And she didn't know about that. And she was like, yeah, I guess it reached this point, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll have to figure this out. So long story short, in that negotiation, it basically came down to money. How much could I pay that night? And how much could I promise to pay in the future?
And the court enforcers negotiate with you right there in that moment.
Right there. They have
the power
They have a
to-
translator who really was not a good translator.
Okay.
And
You couldn't call anyone to the room? Were you by yourself?
I could, but I just wanted to work alone on this.
You were by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow,
I was
okay.
by myself. So like I was like, I have this translator. I'm like, if anyone else that's in this room is an element that I need to think about, and I need to think about what to do here. Like I work in those sort of situations. I think it's better if I'm by myself, unless someone comes in with a plan and they're like, "This is the plan. Don't worry, I got this." It's like, no, I got to come up with a plan. So so basically it was down to how much can you pay tonight, and then how much can you pay,
And when?
can you pay later. So that I kind of got, okay, that's the way. So I was like, okay, how much this, about this, how about this? So there was an amount that was on the table that they were dead set on, and I was fighting against that amount, right? And they wanted me to sign a contract promising this much out of it. So I was fighting against that amount. Every time I would dispute it, they were like, no, it's too, like, you have to do it. So basically I was like, that is my only option, right? Like I either sign that.
This is what I can do.
This is the only thing I can do. So I signed it, and basically I had to pay a large amount of money that night, and every single month since then I've had to pay a large amount of money.
So what did you do? You just called your friends. You took everything you had in the bank.
Yeah, it cleared me out.
Yeah, you cleared yourself.
Cleared me out and cleared out. Yeah, some friends.
How did that situation change your situation now? Let me explain. When you signed, when you paid, is that taken as you acknowledge that verdict? That, I mean, you're accepting it?
Yeah, it's no. I don't think it's that complicated. It's just a simple enforcement like contract. You need to pay this. You don't pay this, it's at this time. If you don't pay it, you go to jail.
Sure, but
So
if your case this next week or this coming week is going to go back to trial, how is that going to read in court?
To my understanding, and what the lawyers have said, they said, nah, it's fine. That case is that case. Our case is our case. Two courts, two systems.
So it's not reopening the first one.
It is reopening the case, but in a much more superior court.
I had
So
something.
you still need to be enforced on
Yeah.
the first thing. You
Until
still
the
need to
case
keep
is
paying.
reopened.
I had
Because once the case is
something-
reopened, I then apply to get the old verdict terminated. I go back to that old court. There's two courts I'm working.
So now you're already paying money. You paid some large sum of money that night, and you've been paying every month since.
Yeah. What's
And,
today's date? Today's the 20th.
And then you're thinking that eventually, when you hopefully win, you will get that money back.
The winning is very far into the future. I haven't looked that far because so basically the reopening of the case just means I haven't lost. Doesn't mean I've won. Just means I haven't lost.
But are you off the blacklist?
Yeah. So that's the first step.
Okay.
Then you go into an active case, and then the active case is evidence. It's this. It builds. It goes back. It's a case, and again, that could take a long time. So when actually the new verdict is set, and if I win that new verdict, then I'm suing back and getting everything back. He then can delay. He can delay.
Can take many years.
Can delay. And then it's like.
But also, since you are paying now, you are already enforced, right, to pay, and the original verdict. You are fulfilling the original verdict under negotiated paying terms.
Yeah.
So this doesn't mean already that you should be off the blacklist.
Not until it's finished.
Not until it's finished.
Done.
Full payment.
It's kind of like considered a fly risk.
Right. I see. Wow. So this week you may be off the blacklist. This week you may be.
No. This week I may get the case reopened.
So it's not yet. It's not like it doesn't happen yet.
Then I apply to get off the blacklist.
Okay.
Then I apply to get the enforcement.
When you think the closest that you can be unstuck.
I mean, if the world's full of teddy bears and butterflies and everyone loves each other and there's no hate, war, it might be 3 weeks.
Might be 3 weeks.
But this is China. There's that one document that needs to go up there to get signed and come back down there. And then this guy's like, what is this? I can't read this. Translate
3 weeks,
it again.
maybe
You signed on
6
blue ink.
months.
I'm away on a holiday, or like, oh, I've lost the stamp, or
right.
Could be
what so far it's not done. So far, what's your biggest lesson?
No. I mean, like the positive out of this, and this is something I always exaggerate because for the first reason is because I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice to sit at home and be all doom and gloom and this sucks. No, you don't have that choice. I never ever thought I had that choice. I never thought, oh, one option is I can feel sorry for myself, get a bunch of people to pay all my expenses.
A lot of people would do that.
I was like, no, I have to secure money, not to fix all of it, but just to get the lawyer. I'm not going to ask everyone to bail me out, right? I'm not going to. That's what
some people would have, I guess.
Yeah, but to me that wasn't cool. I was like, no,
right.
I'm taking money to hire a lawyer to fight against this. I'm going to do the fight. I just need your help to get started. That was my message, and I've always thought of that. I was like, and to be honest with you, this has been a very, very, it's like been a good learning experience, right? There's some people pay to go to law school. I did it this way.
Did it change you as a person, or you were always positive like that?
Yeah, I've never had this drive, this determination, this feel of justice, this vigor to wake up in the morning and to hustle and get shit done. Like I've got way more done in this period of time than I have ever in my entire time in China.
Was there a decision? You said you didn't have a choice. Was there a decision in the beginning after the airport incident that just a moment you decided, I'm going to fight this? The moment that you decided, I'll be positive, I will find a way, I will work hard?
Yeah, I think I always knew I had to fight it. But of course, building the confidence to always be positive and always push, that kind of took a bit of time. There was a couple of times when I was just like, oh God, this is a lot of, like, I'm in over my head here. I've gone too far. But I built the confidence up now where I kind of looked at this and I was like, what's the best thing I can do in this situation? The best thing I can do is not just to fight about it, but just to tell everyone about it. I am like, I don't hide away and I'm like, oh, this is, I don't want my reputation is fine. I know who I am. I know who my friends are. I know who supports me, and I'm good with that. I'm so happy to put the camera in front of my face and tell every single detail about this case.
So this is one of those what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
Moment.
Yeah. Like I'll tell my kids this, and I'll tell them this is probably one of the best things that's happened to Daddy, because it's character developing, and I've always been about this. You can't tell people, oh, you should work or you should change yourself, and not actually do it and believe it yourself. Like my whole life as a personal trainer, I've always been trying to transform people to become better, more successful, maybe with their body, but also with their mind. And then when I'm in a situation, I can't be like, I gotta run home.
Yeah.
No, this is when I need to now put my shoes on and be like, yeah, this is what I.
So whatever happens this week,
Yeah.
it's you're gonna
world keeps
deal with
spinning.
it.
Yeah.
You're gonna
The
deal with
world
it.
keeps
You're gonna
spinning, the
find
sun
another
comes up.
way.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep fighting, and
That's right. Nobody has it's no choice. That's it.
right.
True.
And it doesn't
There's no
put you
choice.
down.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's no choice. I don't like to be like framed as this crusader, this guy. Oh, you're someone. Like when I look at I just don't think there's another option. I think if you aren't doing that, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to win. You know, I mean,
You got to know what you're dealing with. You got to know what the problem is so that you can start solving it.
yeah.
I think this is great. I think this is you're dealing with this in a great way, you know, and
have to,
yeah,
Yeah,
with,
I mean-
with a smile and being positive and looking at the hard work, doing it in a very positive way. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you do this, when you come out and you share your story, you share your message, and you're firm about it, people like that. They value that. They believe you're like. I've had so many more opportunities come to me
Right.
because of this than anything else.
Right.
All the bicep curls that I did, all the fitness, look at me, check me out, that I did before did not count to half as much as what I've been able to accomplish just by telling people, this has happened to me, this is how I fought it, and and people said, I like this, I respect you, can we do a business
People
here?
like fighting for justice.
People
Yeah.
like
It's like
people they can trust.
you said.
If you're honest, if you're just honest, I would encourage, like if we were discussing about crowdfunding, putting the camera in front of your face speaks volumes. It's like that person is willing to put a camera in front of his
Right.
face and say his story, as opposed to the other person who hides away and doesn't. And it's like, okay, who's the one that is trustworthy? Who's the one that's right? Yeah, the one that is outspoken, that has something to say. Yeah, he's respectable, right?
Right.
All right. Well, John, we want to wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Really hope that things go your way.
I think
And
a lot of people are rooting for you.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
we
so.
hope that this message goes out there and that a lot of people will learn some lessons when it comes to how to do business in China, how to be careful with those things. Also, to pick, as you said, pick up the phone when somebody's calling.
Yeah.
I would ask, is there anything else you would like to tell people about this whole story?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things, if you're an expat and or if you're a foreigner and you've just come to China, things can be overwhelming. But actually, you'd be surprised. There's not many things that you can't figure out. It's never actually that bad. It just takes a little bit of grit, right?
Yeah.
It's about the attitude.
Yeah, if you have that right attitude, you'd be surprised what you can get through. Right?
Yeah, I always tell my staff, don't tell me you can't, tell me that you don't know yet, and you're going to find out.
But I'll figure it out. I'll find it out. It's like, this is
100% agree.
All right. Once again, John, thank you so much for your time. Thank you
you.
so much for your hospitality, for bringing us here, letting us
Yeah.
shoot inside your ring. And, well,
Yeah.
best of luck. All right, guys. So this is the end of this podcast. This has been, of course,
China.
and please remember, subscribe to our channel down here and follow us in the social media that you can see down at the bottom of the screen. And until we see you again, bye.
Sayonara.